Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of Team Fortress TV. You have been waiting, and it is now time for the final of the ZOWIE Cup. I am your caster, Max. I am joined by Sideshow and, I guess, CX. We also have DavidTheWin on camera, and Reason Gaming, and who just won. Russkies are going to be playing. Who's excited for this game, guys? Anyone feel free to get in.
It's silly.
And I was not going to respond, just to give the illusion that I wasn't excited, but of course I am. Yeah, this is going to be fun. This is going to be kind of like a repeat of the end of, God, what was that cup called? The Challengers Cup? The $1,500 cup, where it was TF2 Center, or Epsilon, I think they were called at the time, which is a very similar team to the Russkies team at the moment. And they beat them in the finals of that cup and then got trashed in a later one. And in the season as well, so this one will be fun. Gotta predict Reason to take it, but it should be fun to watch the clash of styles anyway.
Do you have any news on maps yet?
As far as I know, we do not, and I should know. But I do not.
Nice. Well, let's predict what the maps are going to be then. What do you think Full Tilt Russkies will ban?
Process and Sunshine, probably.
Yeah, that sounds fair. And Reason?
Reason will ban Viaduct, probably for the same reasons Full Tilt banned it, do you know what I mean? Like Shadowbend, Forsaken, Nookie on Sniper, they just want to avoid that. Like, even though it'd probably still be pretty even, they just want to avoid all that sort of the hassle of going through that and all the potential problems they could face.
Especially with Nookie going as ham as he has been today.
Yeah. So imagine Reason will also want to avoid like Badlands and Gully Wash. Do you know what I mean? The maps that I forget their name, the Russkies perform so well on. So I imagine they'll want to play Process. Maybe Snakewater as well.
I'd love to see some Snakewater action with the Sollies on both teams. That would be a very exciting game to watch.
I think it's going to be interesting if Sunshine ends up in the map pool as well, because of course they can only ban one of the maps. Reason in this preliminary stage, they have to ban, pick, ban. So there's a potential for either Viaduct or Sunshine to get picked straight off by the Russkies. Russkies is such a horrible name. I want to call them something different. I don't know what though. I call them Seb, Barton.
Seb, PogChamp, Barton, PogChamp. That's quicker to say.
Quicker and easier on the tongue, isn't it?
What about Team PogChamp?
Well, let's go with Russkies. It sounds terribly insulting. No, to call them all Russkies.
Isn't there only two on the team?
yeah, and I don't think Forsaken's actually Russian. He's from Latvia.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well,
anyway, what were we talking about? Maps. So yeah, I think if I was Russkies and I had paid any attention to the cup so far, I would be picking either Sunshine or Viaduct. But I can almost guarantee that they have not been paying any attention to the cup so far, and so they'll just end up picking, I don't know, Gullywash maybe, Snake, just something classic that they're comfortable on. They won't try and counterpick Reason, I don't think.
Alright, I was going to wait for someone else to say anything, but I guess I'll hop in. The server is currently on process. Do we know if that's actually being played? Do we have updates on these maps? Alright, so there's still no response on the map, so for now we're still only speculating. I came very late into this tournament, so anyone give me a little catch-up onto how Reason got there, because I haven't seen anything from them today.
I've not seen anything, but I can read a bracket. So,
well done, CommanderX.
It seems like they breezed past DD5 Friends, probably pretty similarly. Is that the team? Yeah, that's what they played in their Week 1 ETF12 fixture as well, so I imagine that went pretty much the same way. They lost the first map to Lego, and then had a very slow Snakewater game that they eventually ended up kind of rolling. But yeah, a really weird one, that one. And then we just seemed to win pretty comfortably in the final map. It's a bit of a weird one for them. I think 4-2 was the final score on Gully Wash. But yeah, a weird way to sort of make it really slow games.
Just typical reason being boring, then, I guess, right?
Oh, we've got the bans happening live in the chat, actually. The live in the server chat. That's very nice of them. So Forsaken and his team have banned Process. I think that's fair enough. They always ban it. Ban Viaduct. Nucky says, "Why you do this?" They pick Sunshine. Nice. Respect to those guys. Maybe they have been paying attention. Or maybe they just heard through the grapevine that Reason lost the Sunshine game, and so
or maybe that's
what they want to do. Yeah, perhaps. I mean, it might be a little difficult because they were playing at the time, Max, but maybe they're multitasking and it's just that
right
easy.
now, and they've got the speculation. They're just listening. You know, they're listening to us speculate about the maps and just going entirely off of that. That's not the worst idea.
Yeah. It's not at all. So they're going to pick Sunshine. I'd expect the counter pick to be something like Snakewater. Oh, look, Snakewater. Yeah. Wow, I'm a god. So Viaduct, Snakewater. The last two bans probably going to be like a ban of Granary, I would say, from the Rusky team. No. The Russian team is going to be banning first. I would predict a ban of Granary, and then Reason are probably going to reply by banning. What are we left with? Badlands and Gully. I think they would probably ban Badlands in that situation because it's just such a pug map and they're a pug team.
And they're in the final. What is TF2?
Gentleman John said the best players in TF2 don't play TF2 anymore. And that's not like the previous best or former best or used to be best until they quit. The literal best, and they just don't play TF2 anymore. Well, he's got a bit of a point. I still don't think they're gonna get beaten. I mean, they're gonna win here against Reason. I think their style is gonna get countered almost perfectly by Reasons. This is the kind of team that Reason love to play against, the kind of pasta brain team where they just run in and try and get as many frags as they can. Nucky's gonna get shut down pretty hard by Hafikul.
It's going to be interesting. Like we saw, like you guys, Full Tilt Nat struggle quite a bit with like Forsaken and Shadowburn and their aggression and their synced up bombs on mid. So it'll be interesting to see Reason's response to that. I mean, we know Hafi plays like, you know, attached to Perm anyway, but obviously you can't shoot everyone. So it'll be interesting to see if they're just going to set up and just wait for them to make that first move, or if they're going to try something of their own at the same time. If Stark's going to play to go behind when its aggression's happening, or if Stark's just going to play as like a second pocket scout to deny his soldiers.
I have a feeling Stark would probably try and play more aggressively. He's really good at getting behind. I think it's something he likes to do, and just like try and take fights with the enemy flank. And I think, I don't know, it could go pretty interestingly.
I don't think he's going to do that. I think he would against any other team, but unless I'm pretty mistaken, I think kaidus is going to like have a grip on how these guys play and just say, like, Stark, if you go for these 1v1s against Stefan and Nucky, then you're going to end up like losing some of them. Stark's got a good DM, but these guys are just like pretty much on the same level. Like Nucky's pretty much got the same level as the best scouts in Europe. He's got the same level DM as Stark does, but he just has no decision making. It like the thing that separates him and Stark is completely decision making, when to go in, when to go out, what fights to take, what fights not to take, and that doesn't help him at all. Like if Stark's forcing the 1v1s, that's exactly where Nucky loves to be. So I don't think that would be a good idea. I think Stark's intelligent enough to realize that and go for other plays. I don't think that he'll carry on playing as he normally does. I think he'll modify his play style slightly and just stick as a second pocket scout. But the maps, I think, pretty heavily favor what do they call the Russkies? The literal three maps that I would have picked, barring Viaduct, the Russkies to have the best chance on. So I think Reason have thrown a little bit in the map picking. I don't know whether we saw the end of the map picking actually. Did we? I don't think we commented on it anyway. But the three maps are going to be Sunshine, Snake, and Badlands. And given that like the only map that Reason's lost in recent history in officials is Sunshine to Lego just now, and they had a 3-1 game against DD5F. 3-1 against what is going to be one of the lowest Premiership teams this season, and a team that was struggling to beat PC Master Race, and they only went 3-1 against them. So the first thing you can see is that they're struggling a little bit on Sunshine. The second thing you can see is that it's incredibly slow, no matter who they played against. Reason like to slow it down as literally as slow as possible, and I think they'll be hoping that Nuki and Shadowburn and Forsaken just bleed into them and they're able to push off that. But actually Nox and Numlock seem to have a fairly good grip on them. Like, they go aggressive in the team fights, but when they're actually just holding, they just sack someone in to play sniper, or they'll just run conch. So the slower this game goes on Sunshine, the more I can see it going in favor of Russkies rather than Reason, even though Reason are the team that deliberately slowed the game down.
The only thing as well is we saw Russkies botch a load of pushes. Like, even though they won eventually, like, in a lot of, like, in the Snakewater game, was the Snakewater game that they lost?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, they could have, there were so many other times they got themselves, like, a good Uber advantage and then just botched the push completely. Like, obviously, some of that was down to full tilt, but we saw it quite a few times on Gullywash as well, where they just messed up pushes, sort of straight up, and Reason are really comfortable playing defensively. So I imagine, I don't know, like, it could be a kind of even fight, but then, like, Reason can just grind out, like, for and win. You can just, like, winning by that round and just holding on if Russkies can't come up with
the kind of play that every TF2 spectator loves to watch. Just slow, methodical team
I don't
play.
think we're going to be in for another 1-0 because both Lego and Reason are known for, like, this super slow gameplay. Lego less so in recent history, but they are very comfortable playing defensively, and so are Reason, and they both just will sit there and just try and make picks. Like, they'll just hold a choke whilst rotating around and looking for this pick, but if they don't find the pick, they're perfectly content just to sit there and wait for the other team to push them. So on the other side, the Rusky team is super aggressive, so then they're not going to be content to just hold whenever they're in a bad situation or whenever they feel like Reason's holding. So if they keep beefing their pushes, it's going to give Reason, like, all the time in the world to take this one forwards. I think it depends on Nox and Numlock, to be honest, like whether they think they can slow the game down or whether they just want to keep going aggressive into them.
How is Numlocked on Sunshine? It's like a map he's not played very much at all, right? Seeing as he takes these nice breaks, these nice vacations from TF2.
He pretty much doesn't know the map, but it doesn't honestly matter that much. Like, Sunshine, if they're going to be playing it fairly slowly, doesn't have that much of a flow to it. He can arrive to the mid fight and literally his job could not be more simple. He's just going to deny people from high grounds. It's not like it's a mid where you have to push down somewhere, or the demo has to get early position, or even have to focus particular targets. Literally on Sunshine, your demo man is just denying people from high grounds so that your team can push across. So it should be blatantly obvious to him, like, how to play this mid correctly, and I can't see him getting pulled out of position. It's not like you can overextend. It's not like the speed of rollout makes a difference. So even if he's not comfortable on the mid or the map in general, I don't think it's going to make that much difference. The 2 points of the map where it could make a big difference in terms of how comfortable they are and how many times they've played it is kind of the last point, and pushing and defending it. Because Reason are going to have this lockdown, well-practiced last hold, whereas the Russkies are going to be completely winging it, and Reason might be able to exploit that a little bit.
It always kind of boils down to it, and a lot of these games we've seen that are really tight. It does come down to, like, how clinical you can be with those last pushes and how many you just cock up. And I think that's what we're going to see. Like, the game's going to be competitive, but I can also see Reason running away with it in terms of scoreline, even if we don't actually see him running away with it on the field, as it were.
I get what you mean. So, like, one of the big deciding factors for Reason winning the game could just be the fact that they're more used to pushing last together, like, as a team, and they're a bit more coherent. Whereas Russkies, best team name ever, just kind of beef a couple, and that's sort of what gives the Reason, like, these opportunities, and it just sort of ends up stacking up. And it's, like, ultimately how Reason could play the whole map and series in general is just kind of trying to get more mileage out of, like, their picks or people being out of position.
Yeah, definitely. They're gonna want to push it fairly slowly though, and like if the calling style was slightly different between these two teams in terms of pushing off momentum, then Reason could particularly run away with it. If they get an advantage and they want to push it home, they've got the confidence, they've got the talent, etc. But they don't often make that call. Reason don't like to chase. If they think there's any possibility that they might come out, they might be overextending. You know, they'll call a halt to it. They'll be content with taking a point or taking a point and uber advantage. Whereas Nox and Numlocked are really the masters of just taking any small advantage and just pressing it home as far as they possibly can. But when you're with a team that doesn't have that much cohesion, it does leave you overextended a lot of the time. So it's finding the balance between those two things. And after playing against Full Tilt on Snakewater, they should have a better idea on there. And on Sunshine, if they try to extend more than taking 2 points, the map's gigantic, so they're gonna suffer a little bit. Either way, I think we've got an interesting matchup because, in my opinion, the map veto system, or the map vetoes, not the system itself, has benefited Russkies, and it'll be entertaining to watch them consistently throw themselves at the Reason brick wall and see if anything gives.
In terms of map picks as well in that last series, like we just saw, like Full Tilt, the only map they won was the one they didn't pick. So, you know, it's not all down to like these like big map advantages and stuff like that. Although I think Reason definitely will be a bit more comfortable on any map just because they've played together for so much longer. It's like essentially a mixed team coming back from a different game, but they're still second place, which is pretty awesome. Especially like to see, you know, Nox and Seb still being pretty relevant. That's kind of nice. Oh my god, if they win. If they win, actually, fun fact, Spud doesn't get his mouse pad. He gets a mouse, so... Well, probably nothing, actually. So, if you like Spud, you should probably root for the Russkies to lose. That's my analysis, complete. I don't know anything about the game. Oh, Seb's downloading the map. That's what's taking so long. If anyone in chat is curious...
No, he's not downloading the map. He's looking at it on a different server. Apparently he's exploring the map on a different server because he doesn't want to get killed by Reason as he's looking at the map in pre-game. So yeah, that's the level of the level of preparation.
And the map
gets you into
as well.
The finals. Yeah, the map that they've picked.
Yeah. Fun little anecdote, by the way. Before the season started, I was once talking to Huffycool, scout for Reason Gaming, and he claimed that Reason wouldn't lose a round this season. Which is obviously
who said
proven. That? Huffycool. A nice confidence
I could only
statement.
assume he was joking.
Nope.
Haven't they already lost a round this season?
Yeah, he said it before the season started.
Yeah, and they've been beaten on a map already in a cup. So
they lost a round in their first official as well.
I think it's kind of non-debatable, although the people on Reason love to debate it, that losing Zebasai and putting Drac in there has made them like a weaker team with more holes to exploit. But they prefer playing with Drac, I think, because they can just tell him what to do, and like they don't have to worry about Zebasai going off and doing his own thing. And they can use Drac as a much more...
malleable. Yeah,
but also kind of like a throwaway roamer. Like he plays much more of a distraction style than Zebasai ever did. He doesn't Reason typically have played with these kind of baity roamers, if you think about it. Like Mike was like super baity roamer. Zebasai was of the same ilk, but kind of had some games where he'd just run in and be making distractions, but I think it wasn't synced up with his team. What's that? Can we play at RC8? Is that a thing we can do? I have that, but it takes 20 minutes to get RC9. No, they can't play RC8. Are they retarded? But who are these people? Get out of my cup, you idiots. You don't even have the map. Unreal. That's Numlocked. I'm gonna go shout at him on Steam.
So, yeah, actually, talking about that, the Drag to Reason pickup, it's like every time Reason's had a new roamer, they're like pretty different. And especially this time because Drag traditionally has like a pocket background. Like he's played pocket for the longest time. For Reason before, at I-52, if anyone remembers that, with the incredible team with Rising on Roamer, Herpy and Samsy Scouts, and Huey, the dominant demo man of I-52, as we all remember. But I think putting on Roamer, he's good because he's definitely got the DM for it. He can handle that. But I think it's going to take him like a while to kind of find his footing and how he wants to play, especially at like top prem level.
I think when you bear in mind that the soldiers he's sort of pairing up against, you know what I mean? Like he's for Roma he's up against, who'll be playing against on the flank, is going to be Forsaken, who has, bags of experience on a multitude of roles in Prem teams. Especially on that Roma, the role he kind of started on. He's got a lot of experience and really good DM as well. So, head to head, you got to give Forsaken the nod there.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Although we could see, if you've watched any of Drax Frag movies, they're nothing to base a player on, but he can hit some just crazy reaction shots. And I don't know, I think it will probably favor Forsaken, but I don't think it'd be like the safest bet on Forsaken. Like Drax is definitely a solid player, and he could pull stuff out. It'd probably be kind of even, but leaning more towards Forsaken on the flank.
Yeah, it's kind of weird with Roma because you never really have many Roma 1v1s.
Yeah.
It's more about the impact Roma can make, is I guess how you kind of judge for Roma versus Roma role. The plays that each one makes.
Yeah, and if you end up meeting an enemy Roma on flank, you normally trade anyway. It very rarely goes into like one just picking the other.
Yeah, or someone survives on 20 HP and then has to run and just heal up completely. So it's, nonsense trades.
The thing is, Dracul could have some help on the flank in the name of Stark, and that's like pretty big. Like both scouts for who's playing aggressive scout? I'm guessing Nookie, right?
Yes, yeah.
So
definitely
him and Forsaken together are really strong, but so is Drac and Stark. I think that's like a pretty even flank. If they both teams try to like make plays together like that could, I don't know, that sort of makes it a 50-50, I feel, instead of favoring one team.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. It's going to be much more about, how the flank plays as a whole rather than the individuals. And again, we talked a bit before about how Stark taking 1v1s on the flank might not, play into Nookie's hands, and also maybe even play into Forsaken's hands, with the DM combined. Yeah. But if Stark, rather than, trying to flank behind and take 1v1s, but if there are just holes in the flank, especially on a map like Sunshine, when there's like two flanks, as it were, that are quite far apart.
Yeah.
If Stark just finds a literal hole, doesn't have to take a 1v1 just to get behind, that's going to obviously be very advantageous for the Reason team. And I feel like that's probably a better angle than, just Nan trying to take those DM fights. But if you can get behind and set up like a pincer, then especially like a team that is just a pug team, that could really pull them apart.
Yeah, you could like one good thing that Reason can do and definitely could do is like the dual pushes, sort of like the combo and the flank, try and do two different things at the same time. And I feel like a pug team wouldn't be used to that. And like the thing we've been talking about constantly is the fact that Russkies have all this incredible like individual talent, and then Reason is just this super solid team. So it's like kind of the fight of that. Like, is TF2 really just all about like this sick individual DM and going ham, or does it really have this like team play component to it?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It's going to be a real clash of styles. But then we kind of saw it against Full Tilt, where they were just kind of overwhelmed by individual talent. Even though a lot of the times, like, the decision-making and the pushes weren't actually good pushes, but eventually they just got overwhelmed by individual plays and everything.
But to that factor, Reason individually are quite a bit better than Full Tilt. Sorry, Sideshow. But, like, both Huffy and Stark are, like, some of the best scouts in the game right now.
Yeah.
Like, they're both incredible. No offense to Thalash and Ast, but, like, I feel Huffy and Stark, like, have a more role in their team, while I'd consider Thalash and Ast kind of, like, I don't know, more wild cards to Full Tilt. Like, they're there, but, like, I don't know. That's just based on watching it. Sideshow could just come out on mute and slam me down, but...
No, that's reasonable. Like, okay. Aston Thalash switch rolls around switch rolls around occasionally depending on what they want to do and where people are going. Haffy and Stark always have the same role. Like, Haffy always plays close to the med. He's always got Permzilla's has the responsibility for Permzilla's life, and just always plays the same reliable role. So he's going to be really key in this best of three, because they're going to be sacking in so many people aggressive, and it's a question of if Huffy's playing well, he'll be able to mince them all because he does have that talent. But if he's out of sync with his team, or they start to get on tilt and start blaming him, then it's going to go downhill. Like, I say that jokingly, it's genuinely a thing. Like in Reason, if they start getting on tilt and blaming Haffy because they expect him to be performing that role, but for whatever reason he isn't, they're just going to spiral downwards as well. Especially because they'll be concerned about Sunshine as their first map, because they've already lost on it today to a team that's significantly worse.
Isn't
And
it
if they
kind of-
lose this, if they lose this first map, then they have to win everything else. Do you know what I mean? It kind of puts them on the back foot where they then can't make a mistake, or everything has a little bit more tension on it. Every decision, every push, or you do or do not go for, kind of weighs a bit more if you're already on the point of one map away from losing the whole thing.
Well, I can let you guys know as well that they will be going live within the next minute, or they get a default loss. So they should be going live pretty shortly. I don't know whether they have gone live in real time, but Seb still isn't on the server as far as I can tell. I think they're grabbing a merc until he downloads the map. But perhaps they should have prepared by at least downloading the map pool before.
Oh, we've got big Mike
Mike's
coming.
on the server. Mike's on the server.
Mike's coming into Merc Demo Man.
You know, they'd probably be better off if Numlock just never downloaded the map and also deleted Snake Quarter out of his download folder and Badlands.
Actually, to be fair, like my game's broken. Every time I join a server, I download the map, unless it's like default on the game. I don't know why that's happening, but it do. But I download them really quick, so I guess it's not too much of a problem. Maybe that's what Seb has.
Don't know why it's happening, but it do. Fantastic.
Would it help if
can you
on
imagine
forum?
like Mike playing with this team though? It doesn't make any sense. Like they would be transformed into a truly all aim no brain team, because when he plays demo, like he just runs in and just tries to put out as much damage as he possibly can. He'll be running around trying to pipe everything he can see, throwing stickies in, just maximizing his damage. He'll get ridiculous damage out and he'll hit a ton of stuff. But I feel like at the very least this team needs the core combo of Nox and Numlocked calling with some kind of coherence in order to work properly.
I don't know, maybe it'll be a true test of like teamwork against DM.
Yeah. I like it. I like where this is going. This kind of essentially makes every fight 50-50.
I like how we're trying to set this up as like a real, like a clash of theories of how TF2 should be played as well. Like this is the definitive decision of what's more important.
Yeah, this isn't just
MGE
TF2.
or reviewing demos.
This is philosophy.
Well, they have gone live. And Hafikul is checking to see whether they're running a sniper to mid. It's a fairly valid concern given that they've got Forsaken and Nucky, both of whom could be running it, but instead it's just the default classes to mid. And Mike's rolled out through the... Oh my god, he tags kaidus with a huge sticky there. kaidus is so weak, he's going to take an arrow and choke surely, but he was getting pistoled down a little bit as well. Captain up on this left hand side, and Shadowburn and Forsaken have taken the high ground. Surely going to bomb in one of them. No aggression from the Rusky soldiers, but they find kaidus almost straight away. I think they were just focusing him down, and Drak gets a big fat pipe in his face. So DM has won this time. Both teams playing it slowly, but they put out way more damage and are just focusing down like singular targets.
Yeah, Mike put so much pressure onto kaidus
They haven't
like,
seen
at all
Stark!
points.
Wait, what? How have they not seen Stark? What was that? It's
Where was
unreal!
he?
He picked up 2! That was appalling! What was going on? Stark says, what the fuck in chat, and I'm thinking it now as well. I don't get what happened there. Were they playing with 75 FOV? I don't understand what was going on.
What is it? Is it like, you know, like a snake can only see in movement, and Stark just stood still, so he was invisible.
I don't get what
Russians
was happening
can
there.
only see movement.
Awesome. Drak is playing quite far forward in this flowers area, getting a lot of good spam damage, and he's going to decide to jump in now. Goes again on team. Both soldiers go for the air shot. Some good damage happens onto him, and he only gets one rocket onto Nox. Knocking him down to 20 HP though. Uber is going to be used, and they're going to keep their middle. But Reason are going to have this full Uber advantage, and only one down to hold the second wave. Let's see how this transpires. As Russkies keep wanting to play it, no, only their flank wanted to play it aggressive. The joys of clicking too quickly.
They've found themselves sitting on a huge Uber advantage here though, Reason, and now they have the dilemma of where they actually want to push with it. Thankfully they're not pushing into a sniper, which can be just the worst thing in the world on Sunshine, because you have so many sightlines and it's so difficult to actually traverse the midpoint, because it's just essentially a box. Like, it's a huge box shape and you're trying to go across the diagonal of it, so it's so difficult to close down a sniper on this. And it looks like they're just completely giving it up. This huge Uber advantage that they had, 100% to 17%. Am I reading something wrong? Did I not understand some of the context of that, or did they literally not push off an 80% advantage just then?
Like, they waited for a bit because Drak wasn't there, so I thought they were just waiting for Drak to go, and Drak to arrive, you know, get his health, and then go. And then he got there, and then still nothing happened. I don't understand. Oh, they're waiting for Seb.
I see.
I think because Mike
sure
crushed
why.
them on the first middle, so they're waiting for Seb to come back in.
Oh no, they don't realize that they had Uber advantage. Kaidus says, "What did you guys use?" Jesus, this is the top level of European TF2. They can't even keep track of when the shiny people became shiny.
So, Shadowburn and Forsaken can't see a standing still scout, and no one in Reason can see that they didn't pop.
Captain, they're having an argument about it. You guys didn't use right, says Captain. Kaidus says, if you popped, we didn't know, smiley face.
Oh my god.
I don't even know when they popped, actually. I can't remember back a minute. Apparently Drac forced, so David's been keeping track of it if nobody else has. And it looks like everyone else has not been keeping track. So, equal Ubers then. Let's pretend that this first 4 minutes has not happened. And they just have equal Ubers defending choke. How do you think the teams are going to go about breaking this?
I think that despite the fact that we've gone backwards in time and just ruined medic and Uber counting and general team play, we've set it back to like 2009. I think now that we're in this even Uber situation somehow, I think the team that's probably going to break it is going to have to be Russkies. They're the ones sitting on middle. And I think that they're going to get bored first, reason like not holding.
Well, you're
them
absolutely
close.
right. In comes Forsaken, but he gets melted by the double scout aggression. And it looked like they were making a play through Flowers as well to dive behind into lower lobby, but Stark and Drac holding that one solid. They didn't want to go for it. So now with one down, Reason, are they going to prod? Are they going to sack anybody in? Doesn't look like it. So Drac and Stark getting aggressive on Flowers, just seeing if they had an opening, but I think they spotted how far back Nox was and decided that was not going to happen. I'm really surprised actually that Forsaken hasn't respawned on Sniper though.
Yeah, I'm watching Drac get a buff here. Hopefully this is a sign of a play to come as Shadowburn does go down.
Shadowburn go for a side as well? Yeah. And Stark's actually gone all the way back to swap to Spy. So, for an enthralling game of slow, meticulous play.
It's the Cloak and Dagger coming in. He's found Nox, but he's positioned slightly more aggressively. And he's got to find some way of uncloaking without people hearing him. He's pretty deep in. He needs some kind of spam, some distraction from Reason, and he'll be able to go forwards and decloak. The more spam, the more noise, and the more their attention is on other people. Or is he just going to go for the pick onto Nuki? At least he's got that information anyway, that Nuki, who's called Cyclic in this game because he likes to change his name, his alias every few months. They know then that he's running Sniper, which will be a bit of a surprise to the Russkies, seeing as he went all the way back to spawn as well.
Stark still slowly but surely trying to find a way in as spammers exchange, presumably to try and open it up for Stark, who has now got behind where Nox is. But again, Stefan's positioning, just like hanging back on this house behind his combo, makes it so hard for Stark to decloak without being heard. And now we see Nuki get the pick. And now they want to move in off that, but Stark is still behind.
He's uncloaked, he's going in for it. Oh, he's been spotted almost immediately. I don't know who spotted him there. Cyclic turning around, Nuki with his hacks. He heard it from miles away, and the Ubers have been traded, but Nuki is rinsing them. One more headshot to add to the tally, and down goes Happycool, the key player for this team.
Kaidus is bombed though, he got stuck behind, he's trying to get onto Nox, but gets taken out with ease by Stefan. And now they're going to try and roll us into last. I think they just want to go, no demo, no stickies, just going to try and walk in nice and easy. Focusing down Captain, and they're just trying to power their way through. But Happy takes down the first one. He's pressuring his scout now as well. A second one for the Reason scout. Happy's chasing down the weak Forsaken. Mike's still in trying to DM, but he's completely outnumbered. Happy gets another. He's chasing down everyone. Kills the sniper. He's on to Nox. What's this, 4 already? And he wants that medic frag. Knocks down to 60 HP. Happy's going all the way for him. Nox is in. Oh, Nox survives!
Even when Happy's playing amazing, he still chokes at the same time. Pretty incredible. Let's get the Happy chokes in chat, please.
I am shocking worse than Happycool is the quote, I think. But yeah, Nox such a clutch escape there. The fact that he's stayed alive means that the Ubers have stabilized, and they're going to be able to defend against Reason. If they commit to this Reason, they could be in a really bad position. Captain and Kaidus going forwards. They got onto Mike. Mike needs saving, but I don't think that he's going to be. Nox was too far away, and he has popped off his Uber charge. They're going to be chasing with it. Shadowburn smells blood. He desperately wants frags. Oh, and great shots from Nuki as well. More of them. He's just slamming everybody, this kid, today. And it's
then
3v3 when the chips are down.
Happy Cool decides to get 2 picks at the end of that, though, making it a bit better for Reason. Only 3 remaining. He's still hiding in this cafe area. He's going to come out in the middle now. He spots the players. Him and kaidus are going to try and make the magic happen. Forsaken's connected with his medic. Is someone going to try and make this magical play? You know, Mike's just going to force Happy out. kaidus did go down to 18 HP. I'm not sure where he's vanished off to, but it looks like we are just still going to set back to this nice classic. We hold middle, you're on second, even after all that action.
Has anyone gained any ground since this map has started? Other than mid, has anyone gained any ground?
Russkies capped second and tried to push into last.
Okay.
So there we go, there has been some development. And they now have a 30% Uber advantage as well that I'm not sure they actually know about, because I believe it was generated through Permzilla not healing properly after the Uber charge, so it looks like they do want to use it.
Perm went down.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Well, they still have a bit of an Uber advantage they could try and capitalize on now, but with SDBZ down, I guess they might as well just back it out. Captain's going in pretty deep in this choke. He's going to try and get a fourth, get some rockets onto Mike, but eventually just gets taken down. One pocket's down for both teams right now, and we've still got this Uber, and both teams playing quite close to choke. Although with that Forsaken pick, it could change a lot of things. Mike trying to spam this damage through choke to deny them from coming in. But the force comes out from Drac, really good from him there. Both scouts are going to try and chase him and do take him down. But this Uber's not really going to do anything for Russkies, but it's not the Uber, it's what happens after. Someone, what's going on right now?
It looks like they want to move down Flowers with this. kaidus and Happy coming through that Flowers, just spotting it out. They have been seen by the Russkies. The Russkies are adopting a really defensive position. Mike and Shadowburn just spamming. Forsaken's near now. I think he wants some heals, but Reason are already in. kaidus and Perm walking through. Happy's going to focus down that soldier on point. Happy goes down, but kaidus is still ploughing forward. And they cleaned up 2 players now, and Reason doing a really good job of just walking in without having to use, really controlling that push.
Looks like they're going forwards once again, trying to make full use of this Ubercharge advantage to take as much ground as they possibly can. It's kind of the best thing to do on Sunshine, because you can pressure teams out fairly easily, but you can't actually take an Uber fight. So Reason playing it pretty smart. They're just going to walk forward with the threat of that Ubercharge advantage. Gets down Shocky incredibly weak, and he's going to have to back off. Surely Mike and Nox don't want to contest this. No, they are backing off. Forsaken down, and the equal Ubers, they are going to be back on their last. So we've seen Reason gain a little bit of ground now, but this is where we were theorizing in the pre-game that the big difference could be made. The amount of last pushes that they actually have success on. So Russkies have already had one, and Reason we expect to actually translate more into rounds. Oh, it's still a difficult last point to push.
I reckon it's going to be a Drac sack.
Yeah,
the Drac sack, that sounds like should be a thing, you know?
The Drakening could be occurring, boys. He is in this right side lobby, and the heals for the Russkies were kind of forward. He's jumping in now, gets a rocket onto Nox, but doesn't really do much outside of that. He's going to get knocked low, and we're right back to where we started, boys. Oh, this game's going to be a lot of fun. SDBZ playing pretty forward, though, around the shutter area.
He's trying to build conch. Yeah, I think, he's just trying to farm some of that spam damage.
Knock the stickies into himself. He didn't quite know what to do. He is making a nice distraction. If anyone wanted to try something on that left side from his team's perspective, they could maybe get something going. It doesn't really look like that's happening. Him and Mike are just trying to force players out, and eventually just realize they're not really doing anything. But Happy Cool just gets Happy slammed out of there, and now it's up to Russkies if they want to try and push out on this. Reason Gaming are probably starting to back out. No, it looks like they still want to hold their second. Captain spots where the push is coming from. Let's see what Shadowburn's going to do with this. All the spams on him. He's going to jump in with this Uber, knocks up kaidus. Can he? Yes, he gets the one air shot to force out the Uber. Nice by him. And he's going to get out. Oh, please do, my man. Nice. Good from them. Get the force.
He's got the conch for the repush, though. That's the entirety of the plan here. For the Russkies, they're going to come back out with this. They had a pyro from Happy Cool, I think because they knew it was coming in. What a pipe from kaidus. Big shot onto Shocky there. But it's 3v3, and kaidus is coming in from behind. He's trying to lay down stickies, but he didn't really have much loaded. And Nox manages to escape. The rest of the team is going to try and stick together. Stark taking a 1v1, but does lose that one. Surprised he went in for it when he only had about 20 health, but he thought he could catch Nox with his trousers down. Unfortunately, the slippery French medic is still alive, and it's only Mike, really, that was a casualty from that push. Reason want to make the most of it, though. They're already in on the left, and Mike still has 8 seconds on the respawn.
But Forsaken just bombs in and kills Permzilla. Happy Cool does take him down. 4v3 right now. I'm not sure Reason are going to commit to this one pretty hard, especially with SDB Easy coming in the back there and finishing off Happy Cool. Kaidus is still up on the second, along with his scout partner of Stark, but they're both just going to get taken down. Nice push there from Russkies, and that's going to be a second cap for them.
Yeah, they seem to get really baited in. Like, they got that mic pick, so the idea was right. No stickies, let's try and get a free entry and take the non-Uber fight. But Forsaken jumped over all their heads, got Permzilla straight away, and from that point on, the heals just were too much, and they're going to turn that into 2 points for themselves now, the Russkies, and a big Uber advantage to push second with.
Stark is going to respawn on Sniper because it currently is the Sunshine metagame that Sniper is pretty much the only way that you're going to try and break these stalemates in between mid and second due to how far back teams are holding. He's going to get a decent angle from his spot on the balcony of Spire, and Mike gets dropped down to such weak health that Uber charge is forced, and they're trying to get in, doing damage, a lot of damage done to Captain, and a bit to Kaidus as well, but all they've managed to do is pressure Reason out of there, and they'll be expecting the repush. Oh, but the conch pop? This is very odd. I think Shadowburn's just holding it, waiting for the repush so that they can all scatter. Nice anticipation from him, but what that does is it leaves him in a position where he can't actually use any rockets. So if they sack in now and try and actually just take a fight, Shadowburn's forced to pop it off before anything else.
Yeah, and the fight does start with Forsaken going down pretty early on. Scouts in this lobby area, but he's just going to get taken down pretty quick there by a pipe from Kaidus. And with 2 down, the Russkies are just going to come get out of the fight. Let's see if anyone's going to try and stop him on the way, though. Any flank players? Question mark. Drax is going to come in. He gets one knock onto Nox. Can he take him down? He does. The Drax sack successful this time, and he's just going to get out while the rest of his team takes the middle point. Although Mike doesn't want to let him take it away for free.
Look at the chat. Nox with another classic. Oh my god, go play the lottery. Go Lotto.
Go Lotto.
Go Lotto. That's a classic. I love that one. I think he was very annoyed there that he got stuck on the shed and dropped down where Drac was waiting for him. So they've managed to create a huge Uber advantage here, pushing second. All due to that solo play by Drax. So really nice from him, but looking for Forsaken, try to pull off something similar. Isn't going to quite be able to manage it. Has to escape. Mike Crater. No, he's going to survive.
Guess he's not a meteor because he survived that crater. But now with this push coming in from Cafe, he's going to try again, but he's just going to get taken down by Kaidus. Everyone was shooting him there. Nice play. The Drax sack unsuccessful yet again. He's just going in. I guess it's fine that he does that. But this fight on second, now that it's 5v5, let's see which way it goes. Reason do have all this positioning. Nice pipe on the Shadowbone, pretty much forces him out. However, we do have a back cap.
Nookie's got on the back cap. Mike's just jumped out and in again. Stark's gone back to fight Nookie. He's just waiting Drax to get the forward spawn as well, and now Nookie's just kind of stranded in this middle area. Going to tie and
Drac just finishes him off there. If you're on OSCX, you're kind of lagging, which is why I've taken over. Reason in this lobby area now, it looks like they're pretty close to this right side. Stark looks like he's going to be going in for a sack. He spots out the heavy. That's really good for Reason to know that that's going on now. They can play around that. Even Ubers, so we might have to wait a while for a push to even happen. Well, Sideshow, what do you think's going to happen?
I think we're just going to see them posture around for ages. They're just going to be slowly prodding, in and out, maybe sack a player in, hold outside again, try and see if they can somehow get this Ubercharge out of Nox, or they'll just sack a player in to get a sniper. But that was a very nice baiting play there by Numlock. He put himself forward so that Stark would go for the frag, thinking that he could then open it up, but Shadowburn was there watching, and he had the conch ready to pop. Oh, sorry, it's not Numlocked, is it? It's Mike. But either way, it was nice by them to bait the frag out of Stark, and they found Kaidus as well.
Is my mic better now?
Yeah.
Nice. Just in time for this exciting pause.
Most exciting pause in history.
So, Reason have ended up dropping 2 people from their attempted prods into last.
Yeah, the aggressive defense here from Russkies is really putting them on the back foot. Like at the same time as Stark goes for a play, they're pressuring on the left-hand side. So as Stark gets baited in on the left, the team is actually pushing a little bit on the right-hand side from the attacker's perspective. So Kaidus, I don't really understand how he died, and he definitely shouldn't die in that kind of position. But I wasn't watching to see how it actually went down. Oh, pure random spam apparently it just caught him. So I guess that's more unlucky than anything for reason that those two deaths were synced up at the same time. But Drax still hanging out below where he'll continue to try and be a nuisance. Maybe able to get a flank on somebody, but no, just exits.
Yeah, weird exchange right now as they both pop off, and the reason I want to try and take it in with that Shadowburn frag. Captain still trying to work his way in. Drac gets a frag on the other side of it. Captain leads for charge in, makes space for Happy and Stark, barreling in with those heals. So dangerous for two of them, and now Captain is stacking on point. Forsaken takes him down with an air shot, but there's so much damage from the reason play as Shadowburn tries to stop it. But we finally see a round. 1-0 after 17 minutes of gameplay.
How long? Oh my god, yeah, this has been a very long round. Hopefully the action speeds up a little bit. We've been talking about how aggressive the Russkies are, but so far we've not really seen too much of that. We've seen some attempted plays, but mostly they have been on a back foot. So let's see what happens as we go into the second middle right now. Kaidus, of course, pretty darn quick, trying to sticky up this Flowers area. He's not really going to get anything onto Mike, and Mike's not really going to get anything onto him as the rest of the teams arrive to middle now. Let's see what is going on. Looks like Mike wants to push across this point. Some good sticky damage onto Kaidus. All these pipes raining over. It looks like the Perm and his scout partner are just going to have to get out as well as the rest of Reason, as none of their health is too good. And I think Russkies want to keep the chase going, so
yeah, they're piling through this choke right now. Shadowburn's kind of low, but he's still just piling in, and Reason don't have any time to get any position, so they're going to lose mid, lose CP2. Did Stark die, or was that actually a bug in the chat? That was weird. But yeah, either way, Reason look like they want to kind of contest this, though. The Cap's not gone out, and they're going to Uber out Captain, but they don't actually block it in time. Nuki's trying to run behind, but he gets picked off. But the later pop comes out, and Permzilla's so deep, he's in so much trouble. Surely he's going to go down. Shadowburn will finish that. Forsaken gets Kaidus as well. Happy's desperately trying to delay them in lobby, and Stark's behind as well.
And Stark's the only one that could do anything here. If he was going to try and rescue it, just delay long enough for Happy to get on the point, but can't quite. If Happy had played it a little bit more ballsy, taken the 1v1 against Shocky, if he just leapt on the point as quick as he could, Stark had actually hampered everybody else, but it was dire straits for them no matter what they did. And Numlock is back in the game. That's what that whole weird business with the pausing was about. Numlock is back in and is now playing for them, so let's see if that makes the difference. The score is 1-1.
Yeah, we're going to see Numlock go in, hanging out around his own Flowers, trying to just put some stickies down, and no real damage as of yet as they look to try and move across the point, getting that aggressive ground. Reason kind of pinned back on their own side right now. They just seem to be waiting for an opening, or waiting for one of the Rusky players to overextend. Numlock gets the first frag. Drac with a big bomb, he goes down, cleaning up everyone right now. But a good trade of frags towards the end makes it a 3v2. Just Happy Cool left now. Going to try and make a play onto Nox, but they know exactly where Happy is. It's going to be difficult for him to find a way, and he's dancing around that house. Just gets picked off right there, and Nox is going to have a huge Uber advantage.
Shadowburn had a fat mid. He sat on the bell tower, he airshot one of the soldiers, Drac, as he went in for his bomb, and then as he dropped down to his medic, the other soldier jumped in and he slammed him as well with an airshot. So fantastic stuff from Shadowburn on that mid. That'll be his frag clip number 372, titled Slamming Reason in the ZOWIE Cup. But that's if he gets through all of his Overwatch frag clips.
And then it will be added to a series of frag clips highlighting his previous frag clips.
And
as
now
they go, the more they're pushing in through this lower side, trying to get all the damage onto Huffy the Pyro. They finally do take him down. There is still a heavy of Stark to get rid of, and a Sentry, the full Prolander setup right now for a reason. Numlock is spamming all these pipes across, trying to get as much damage as possible. The Sentry gun does go down, and there is 2 down for a reason, and only 1 for Russkies. It's looking pretty good for them. Can they hold it out and actually win this middle right now? SDBZ trying to push across the point along with his team. They're just sort of waiting back. Scouts trying to bait the cap time. They want Reason to block it, but they're not really falling for it. The fight, the longer it goes on, the more it's going to favor Reason. The spawns are coming in right now, and the health of Russkies still looking really strong, though. If they want to, they can still stay in this fight. Numlock's got the stickies on the point right now. Oh my god, that was so close to being Captain Reason finally.
Who can't see Nuki? 75-4!
Stark,
what is Stark
please!
doing? Holy shit! They did that with Stark earlier, and then Stark doesn't see him. He was literally just crouched in the top left. I don't understand what's going on in all of the mayhem of the game, and they're concentrating so much on what they should do and where they should be positioned and what fights they should be taking. They're just not seeing people that are stood still.
Meanwhile, Reason's tried to push out of that, but they took so long now. They actually had Uber once again, the Russkies, and now it's just descending into chaos. They're going to pick off kaidus, who's stuck on CP2, and there's only 3 players left for Reason. Stark's trying to buy as much time as he can. Captain's going in as well. He kills Noct, but just trying to buy time. 4 seconds for Drac and Happy Call to spawn. Permzilla might have to try and fight for point. Perm's made for swap. He's gone onto Pyro, but he's not going to make it in time. No one's going to make it in time. The Russkies take the lead. 2-1. We've got 8 minutes left of this, guys.
And we saw there how the more aggressive team broke down the last hole, so they weren't constantly rotating for picks like Reason tried to do before they actually push. They just got in, muscled their way in on the left-hand side with the Uber charge, took it into last, and then they were having this really long, drawn-out fight where they had to get rid of all of these off-classes and all of the defensive capabilities. And it still didn't work for them. They still had to bait them into a fight on second.
Now going into this mid, we see Captain give a high ground really early, trying to focus down Shadowbone. Gets a bit of help from Drax, still fighting away, stuck underneath. Forsaken's going to pick up 1, super low on health, going to have to get the health pack there. Now Stark is powering forward with Happy Call. Forsaken's still in though, but he's separate from his medic. He's jumping back, trying to get... He's got the skill stick out, but he can't get a frag and he can't buy enough time for Nox. And that's a full wipe, and Reason with a great opportunity to tie this game back up.
They're taking position a little bit better on these fights now. Captain did a lot of denial work on the top before Forsaken jumped up, but Forsaken took so much damage. I'd like to see the soldiers get a little more aggressive from Shadowburn and Forsaken as well. I think they take the top ground and they're baiting a bit of aggression up, but then they're just trying to hit these long-range ground rockets to see if they can make a lot of plays. What the hell? Forsaken just dives in and takes down Hafikul, but he's lost his life for it as well. Fairly even trade, but Reason are going to be coming in on the left-hand side, and Nucky needs to be very careful there. Is going to be able to escape, perhaps? He's making Captain look like a fool, running around after him, and this fight is not going well for Reason.
Not at all, although it does look like it's a little bit better now. 3 versus 3, they're getting so much time on the point. Nox is on it trying to block as well as the soldier. Drag, it's all on Drac, can he do it?
Oh my
God! The skill stick! What a cap. Well, your boy, the Drakening just occurred right there. That was a pretty sick, nasty
was
win.
completely wasted on the right-hand side. Like, Nucky was just running rings around them, but they somehow found a frag on the left-hand side, and because they pressured everybody back to spawn, they'd bought themselves so much time to just play around the point. But if they'd rotated through the spawn instead of this is the Russkies, if they rotated through the spawn instead of just sticking on the right-hand side and trying just to muscle their way out against the dying seconds of the Uber charge, then they would have been able to take that definitely, because that initial Uber was so bad.
And with this middle now, we have Reason being aggressive again. Captain trying to bomb in as deep as possible, takes down Nomlock, great from him. Oh my god, and what a sick rocket there onto Stefan as well. Pretty much using all of his testosterone to tell Russkies to get out of this middle, and they do. Only 3 remaining. What a great mid by your boy, young Captain there. Going pretty ham. Sort of, I don't know, just winning that middle, really. Nothing more to say. I think kind of what we said in before the game was that, like, you know, Russkies were going to be pushing to Reason, and it was on Reason to handle the aggression. But I feel like the opposite's been happening. Like, Reason have been the aggressive, and it's been on Russkies to deal with it.
Only when they've been winning the mid-fight, I think. Like, whoever's been winning the mid-fight has been able to take second very easily, and they've been pushing on the door. But, I mean, now you can see the difference in opinion of how we should be playing TF2, because Reason it's equal Ubers, and they don't even want to hold lobby. They feel like lobby's not a safe place for them to hold. They had kaidus drop in there last time. They don't want to extend at all, so they're just asking the Russkies to sack out into them or to try and take the fight to them. And Hafikul's running Pyro,
and
which
Stefan's
we saw
on
last
Huntsman.
time. Okay, well, Stefan on Huntsman's just because he has brand damage, but the Hafikul thing is actually a play that they were trying to execute in the first round, I think, and Hafikul got absolutely slammed. I think it's defensively. I think they're expecting Nox and Numlock to use an Ubercharge out into them, and they want Hafikul to block it.
Shadowburn's forced!
Oh,
He's just
that's
walked
so
out from
bad.
balcony, caught Reason in the transition. Now Captain's coming in to try and force Nox. Nox is going to pop, Captain will go down. And it's just maybe going to work out quite well for Reason, because now they've got Haffy on a defensive Pyro, and the Russkies have already used their Uber. Look at Haffy, he's ready to shut down balcony, so they can't come off there. kaidus has bottom left stickied, and is now watching bottom right. And the Russkies just can't make a move off the back of this.
Pyro is actually Heffy's true main. I think that's the reason he's playing it. Like, he just knows he's a better Pyro than Scout. I don't think there's really any strategical value behind it or anything. But we do have Stefan on Spy right now, so that could...
Yeah, he switched off the Huntsman. And instead he's going to go... I can't even tell what loadout he's got, but it's the Cloak and Dagger and some kind of backstabby knife, so he'll be trying to get in behind, but Reason already pushed. They're miles away.
It's a non-Uber Pyro push. We're all just going to try and stack for point. kaidus baits and gets 2 frags. Zilla goes down, but Happy just gets on the point. They got so much ground on. They walked in for right for free. Then they baited people to the point. kaidus got 2 frags. Pumzilla died with 90%, but then Happy was on the point. So anyone who tried to deny him just got blown off.
Incredible. Well,
nice and concise.
I mean, I was watching Stefan the whole time, but I guess that's the Pyro play that they were trying to go for the whole time. That must be something that they've been cooking up. We'll have to watch another last push. Let's take a look at the battle of the Demo Man here. Reasoning kaidus and Give Me a Reason Numlocked are both spamming stickies at each other, seeing what they can do. Oh, a nice headshot there, and Numlocked is sick pipe. What? Sick double pipe.
The taunt.
It's really nice, and he's gonna hit them with the taunt. Only 3 up for Reason now, and they are bailing it out of there. And Forsaken's all the way in behind, so he's trying to sandwich them a little bit. Shadowburn gets taken out as well, though, so they've just thrown 2 players into the meat grinder. And Nookie is looking for a nice little angle. You can see all the way down past that lighthouse. He'll see Happy Cool in a second, but just couldn't quite get it.
Starkey with the nice shot in chat about 20 seconds after it happens, and the big TY from Give Me a Reason. I think he's been given a reason. I don't know what it is, that doesn't make much sense, it needs more context, but you know, he's got one now, as the rest of his team is playing pretty far forward, but Stark goes down again to not.
Yeah, Stark got baited in really badly there. Like, Nookie's pretty far forwards, but he's got a soldier covering him, and Numlock was sticking from choke, and Stark just got completely baited hook, line and sinker into trying to go for that frag.
But both Ubers have been forced right now much earlier for Risa. That one's not looking too good, while his captain's trying as much work as possible with his. Both are faded now and all the players are remaining. Let's see if this actually converts into anything. Shadowburn is still pretty forward in that choke, but he's backed out. It doesn't look like either team want to really push, especially since one is the sniper.
There's 1 minute and 15 seconds left. Yeah, the Russkies have to go. They've got a sniper as well, so it's going to make it harder to force the issue. They have 1 minute, 10 seconds now left. They need to cap this to have a chance of winning this first map. They've rotated to Flowers. Shadowburn's jumped in, trying to chase down Stark. They're trying to force their way in, but Drak's going to bomb them. He gets sniped.
What a
Captain's trying to follow up. They trade as well, and it's fighting all over the map. It's now 3v4, and these Shadowburn and Stefan have to go huge right now, but they're struggling to finish off Stark. Stark's buying so much time. He goes down, but look at the position Reason we're able to get off the back of that. Now Happy Cool's pressuring Medic. Nox is super weak. He's going to go down. They get Happy Cool, but Reason are just buying time. 35 seconds left, and they still need to cap CP2.
Nox calls the preemptive GG in chat. I think he's a little bit on tilt. Shadowburn missed so many rockets at the end there. He had an opportunity to go absolutely huge. The frag on Stark should have been simple business, and they could have walked forwards and taken capture point 2 much quicker without Nox going down, and now they're all just going to sack in and see what they can get done. I don't see this happening at all. Permahead 100% Uber, not going to happen. Reason are the victors on Sunshine, and it looked really hairy for them at a lot of the points through the map. But honestly, that Pyro play at the end was what they needed to get themselves through.
It was a very enjoyable game, I think. Even like the really long round was still pretty interesting, I think. Like, there's nice plays happening across the board pretty much from every player. I wouldn't say anyone like underperformed or anything. Well, overperformed really. Just a nice bog standard game, you know?
I think
Drag had some big moments.
Yeah, he did. He had some big individual moments. But on the other side, I'd like to see Shadowburn and Forsaken step it up a lot more. I haven't looked at the logs yet, but I get the feeling that they didn't do that much damage or really make that much happen on this map.
The damage was okay, but they're both on like 12 to 18, 13 to 17.
Yeah, that's the same with all of the soldiers actually. Apart from Drak, who's 14 for 16. So in terms of frags on the soldiers, it's very low fragging. They weren't really having that much of an impact in terms of damage that they could output or frags that they could get, but they just had to sack in, try and take as much space as they possibly could so that they could move forward. And unfortunately, Drak came out with the goods when it was required. the scouts just were having a field day. They were just running around the place, just cleaning things up. Stark goes 21 for 13, and Nucky 19 for 15.
Wait, I just looked at Haffy's pyro stats, right? So considering he won the round that won them the map, Haffy got 0 kills, 0 assists, 2 deaths, and 20 damage total on pyro in almost 3 minutes of gameplay.
I can only assume that he was walking in just spamming
Reflecting
mouse
constantly.
too.
Yeah.
Just pushing people away. They were just using it to get an easy entrance on the right hand side, and then just wandering down the right hand side, just reflecting anybody away who tried to deny them that position. So I guess it's a nice set play, but for me personally, I think it just highlights more like how bad Sunshine is as a map to push the last of, to be honest. When you can't actually take position, or teams don't feel like they can take position without running kind of a strange play like that. And they tried to run it 3 times, twice the pyro just ended up losing them the fight, and once they managed to succeed. But it kind of doesn't matter at all, because even failing that twice, it doesn't really hurt them at all. They are able to stabilize because the map doesn't really favor momentum. But on the one time that they actually succeed it, they've won a round off the back of it, and Sunshine is always going to be a really low scoring game. So they've got a strat, they've got something to pull out their pocket. So the teams that are facing them on Sunshine during the season will have to watch out for that one, see if they can come up with a counter. It's nice to see things being innovated like that.
Yeah, before matchmaking as well. Like, everyone thought, if anything, like, that's when the weird, like, class gimmick strats and stuff would come out. But it's nice to see them now. The more innovation, the more better. We just have more stuff to be excited about, really. But one thing that was excited about, I feel like, Big Mike on Demo Man was doing a lot of work for the team. Do you think Seb stepping back in was up or downgrade?
It's kind of a weird one. I thought Mike was really dominant on mids, but then outside of that, he seemed really disjointed, like, with his combo. But then, like, even when Numlock came back in, they were still winning mids. So in the grand scheme, I don't think it really changed it that much, except Numlock was much more with the combo when he was playing instead of Mike.
So, Snakewater then, who are we going to have... whose map pick was this again? My apologies, I forgot.
This was Reasons. I think the reason for the Reason map pick is just because they lost it to Full Tilt, right? So Russkies lost Snakewater to Full Tilt. They looked like they didn't really have a grip on the map. They were constantly making pushes that didn't quite work between second and mid, or mid to second, more often than not. And the mid fights weren't that great for them either. Like, the early mid fights when they were playing against Full Tilt were going their way, but then they kind of got found out, and they were just running the same thing every single time. So I think Reason will feel very comfortable on this. They play an incredibly defensive Snakewater mid, and that's going to play into their hands. I think that any aggression that is going to happen from Russkies here is just going to get absolutely absorbed by Stark and Haffycool. I can't see it particularly going the way of Russkies on the mid fight, so they're going to have an uphill battle trying to recover that. But interesting that Russkies chose it as a map against Full Tilt, so they must have some reason for feeling like they'd be good at it or wanting to pick it.
Yeah, I guess that's a pretty fair assumption, especially, like, their scouts and soldiers aren't exactly slacks either. You know, they could definitely make a lot of good things happen on this middle, especially Shadowburn and Forsaken. Shadowburn has, like, sick rollouts he could pull out. You know, Forsaken's always just really good. Like, those two combined could definitely make plays, but I feel like after middle, it's just going to favor Reason, like, so much in terms of play. But what was, because Full Tilt lost a couple rounds, right? Sideshow, what was hard for you guys as a team, like, that the Russkies were pulling out that you feel they could do against Reason as well?
Mostly it was failed pushes that got pushed all the way to last. So if Reason try and run a sniper at any point and they get stuck in a snowballing situation, they're going to be on their last before they can blink. They're a really fast-paced, aggressive team as soon as they have that momentum. But we're live, so we get to see how it'll go for real. Kaidus and Numlock trading some stickies, and the soldiers have just now got here. Shadowburn and Forsaken. Forsaken's already in. I don't even know where that was, but he's absolutely annihilated Drak in Kitchen, and that's going to allow them to go all the way across the point. Stark dies as well, so maybe they just need to sit Drak a little bit more defensively where he can't get picked within the first 5 seconds of a mid-fight. And this is where Russkies are just going to pile forward. They're going to try and take as much ground as they possibly can within the first few seconds after winning a team fight, and then carry on going into you even then.
Yeah, it looks like they want to keep carrying on through lower right now. Most of the team positioned in there, although it does actually look like now they're rotating to this the left side. They're going all around the place. Both Ubers are up for each team, and Stark is on Sniper. He's probably going to try and take the enemy team's Uber out of the equation. He's playing on this left side, gets a peek on an unlock, but doesn't manage to make anything from it. All of Russkies are just stacked up in this one spot right now. The demo was to push up, would be pretty disastrous. Oh, nice shot from Stark there to deny Forsaken on that jump in, but they're not going to back down now. Nookie just jumps in and gets 2 quick frags right there, gets some damage onto Kaidus, but he's going to get finished off eventually. Neither Uber used from either team right now, but they're still 2 down apiece. I think it's time for Russkies, to back out.
Yeah, really weird play. It just seems like they didn't want to commit to that 4v4 Uber fight there. And again, it's just worried about the spawns coming in, so decided to play it safe. And they're just going to reset right now, and it looks like Nookie's gone Sniper, and we see Stark counter-sniping and Happy Cool on Spy. Is he actually going out of spawn and Spy, or is he just checking?
Happy Cool is checking to see if Nookie is on Sniper, and he did see that.
Okay, so I guess we're just going to have a pretty standard Nookie versus Stark Sniper exchange as Nookie tries to get in through the left-hand side. He's still pressuring that left-hand side. Drak's trying to pressure him out. It's just going to be a matter of time now until they can get an angle for Nookie to find a shot to open up a push for them.
Oh, Drak actually does take him down. He had like 2 nice rockets, and then he manages to finish off the kill. The question is, will anything come from this? Because Snakewater is notoriously hard to push out from last, so even with that pick advantage, you might not really want to do anything, but you can play a bit riskier, like Captain is quite forward. No, it looks like they want to send in Forsaken for this bomb, but he does just get taken down.
That was so close. His rockets there were so close to just instantly annihilating Permzilla, and Perm was, it was squeaky bum time for him.
Nice. Okay. Well, with both soldiers down, this hold is not looking too good for the Russkies. They still want to play it kind of forward. Almost going to try and get as much damage going as possible. Nookie's still on Sniper right now, but Nox gets taken down by Kaidus. Oh no, pretty bad. FN's actually trying to go in for a back cap, but the team's already on it, and this is pretty much disastrous for Russkies as they're going to lose their second.
Oh, Forsaken was still hiding underneath, but he gets spotted out, and they're just going to clean that up. In comes Shadowburn as well, though. Not quite sure why. Nookie's still trying to snipe from window as well, and it looks like the Russkies have way overstayed their welcome, as Happy Cool's going to clean up those remaining 2.
Pretty unlucky by Nox. He had Captain bombing in onto him, and then took a long-range sticky at the same time. Probably should have popped to the Captain bomb anyway, but he just left it a little bit too late there. Wasn't anticipating taking off probably like 40 damage sticky from Kaidus at the same time, and dropped that Uber charge, and Captain has died. Yeah.
Reason drops their pocket, but they're going to commit to this push anyway right now. But Uber finally used from Perm, and they're going to flash everyone in. Russkies are going to try and get out, but it looks like the frags are coming their way, and they lose Nox in the middle of it all. That's pretty bad for them. Stark's going to take a fight with a soldier near the under area, but he's going to leave Happy to finish him off. Just a great clean fight there. Only 2 players remaining, so Reason are going to try and swarm across. Looks like they're going to come in through this left side right now, see as far as they can get. Stefan tries to get in onto Perm, but he just gets shut down. But the bomb in on Kaidus, good damage. Meanwhile, Stark is that Happy or Stark just on the point and cap it out.
Really fast, fluid play from Reason. As soon as they spotted Russkies out of position on the point with a 70% Uber disadvantage, they pushed in. They got the frag on Numlocked instantly. Nox was cut off by Kaidus. He got picked, and they just flood all the way through, picking up all of those frags. So Reason can really turn up the pace as soon as they realize they have like a really big weakness from the other team that they can take advantage of. As soon as there's a big mistake, they will turn it up to 11. So let's take a look at another mid-fight, see if Drak gets minced immediately.
No, it was Happy Cool to get minced immediately this time by Nookie. although the return frag onto Shadowburn comes out. I'm watching Stark right now as he's trying to deny people, but all the position is on the Russkies' favor right now, and Reason recognize this, but they're going for this repush from Kitchen. Kaidus is going to try and come out with the rest of his team, but they know it. They're trying to put as much damage as possible, and they're eventually going to take him down. Only 3 remaining for a reason, but they're still in, and the health of Russkies isn't too good right now. It's actually become a 3v2. Nox and Stefan are the only ones remaining in choke, but I don't think anyone from Reason's going to chase that one out. A really good play from Reason, end up winning that in the end.
Yeah, Dracket sort of wandered into, found himself in a position behind them. Didn't do too much with his rebomb back in, but he just opened up that space for everyone else to come forward and allow Captain and Perm to eventually clinch for mid. But it looks like Russkies want to come back in. Captain's trying to deny them, but Soldier's gone over his head and forced his medic. Nox still has 100%, completely safe as well, so great opportunity now for the Russkies to get some aggression of their own going, even though they do have to make that difficult CP2 to CP3 push, and it looks like they want to go lower with it.
It certainly is a difficult one. It looks like they're going to go Kitchen, but they're going to have to pop out almost instantly, or they're going to drop somebody, or drop the Uber charge. And Nuki dies to a blind death from Kaidus as well, so that's not how you want your Uber charge to start. They're going to be able to cap the mid. I don't even think actually they're going to be able to cap the mid. Reason should be pushing back in here almost immediately. They're giving them the mid, but they surely should be going in after that. Reason? Reason not bothering. They don't want to push off that pick and all the damage they did in that exchange. That's so strange. In my opinion, they should have been going in ages ago. And now they're getting buffs. They wait for the scout to spawn. They wait for the rest of Russkies to be re-healed. And now they want to push with the Ubercharge advantage. A bit of an odd situation. Playing it super safe rather than trying to play off any damage they'd done in the previous fight. They just want to hold on, but Nox only needs another 10 seconds, and then he has his Uber up. And Forsaken's now behind them, and they get the pick on Captain. Kaidus is weak. Forsaken's going to pick up another 1v1 against Dracket, it looks like. So, didn't go quite well enough for them there. Nox now has his Uber, and they're going to be coming straight back in.
Yeah, they're going to come straight back in with this. Stefan on the point. Soldier's going. Drek tries to jump in, but just gets taken down by Forsaken. And with both their Sollies down, I think that they know that they've lost this. A nice kill onto Forsaken there as he's trying to play forward. But ultimately... Actually, no, this ends up with both Sollies down for Russkies as they're pushing into the second. This might not be the best fight. However, Nuki in from behind trying to get the shots on. He does take down Kaidus. He's got all the time in the world, but he can't quite get Perm. Pretty unfortunate for him there. He got 4 shots off, but didn't get the kill. I think we're just going to get into a nice second stalemate here then, boys. But with a full Uber for Nox, they could be pushing pretty soon.
Yeah, no Kaidus either, so it's a real opportunity for him to get in with reduced spam. We see Shadowburn jumping through, trying to fight that soldier above him. Going to get the Uber on, but these soldiers have just scattered, and the Russkies are struggling to find any frags off from this. They get Drak, but it's only 1 frag, and Kaidus is now back up. I don't know if they want to keep taking this to last. They're going to lose Shadowburn lower, so it's going to be risky if they do. Numlock's peeking in, gets Happy killed, but he's super weak now. The health is not good on these Rusky players, and Perm already has his Uber up.
Yeah, that was almost the situation we were worried about with Russkies, where they would overextend trying to play the momentum and trying to play an advantage, because Nox and Numlock really wanted to push that as quickly as they could and maybe even catch Permzilla. They're trying to take kind of 2 fights with 1 Uber charge, but instead just forced to give it up, and if they had gone into last it would have been disastrous for them. Shadowburn is on Spy and he's coming behind through the cheese area, but Reason have got the capture, so it's up to him now to make the big plays, but Reason are going to want to be going forwards. Nox almost has the Uber charge to stall them out, but not quite, and they've spotted Shadowburn. How did that happen?
Casino. Well, with Shadowburn dead, the playmaking potential for Russkies isn't too good. However, Stark does go down, so it makes it a little bit better for them. And with both Ubers in position, I guess that means neither team is really going to want to do anything unless you are Russkies. Numlocked and his scout partner pretty far forward in right now. And Nuki is pushing forward. He can try and get as much damage going, but Forsaken's going to get taken down by Captain, and the Uber's forced out from both teams here, although it does favour Reason, especially with these flashes. Let's see what's going on. Kaidus trying to body block everyone that he can, gets some great damage and takes down Numlocked there, and all these other picks going in the way of Reason. This is really good for them. Nox is super low. Kaidus does actually go down though, his team not quite with him, and Shadowburn just walks through Kitchen and takes down Happy Cool as well. Does get picked up by Perm in the end, and this should be a middle conversion for Reason as they push up, and Stefan gets a nice pick onto Drak to close it all out.
A ridiculous meat shot at the end to take down Drak. That was sort of mental. He was on about 9 health, obviously going to die, and still managed to turn a frag at the end of it. Not quite sure how, but Captain is putting down a ridiculous amount of damage on these Rusky players as they come in. He was bossing them around. Somehow they still get a bit of room. Stark not quite wanting to give him the aggressive backup, despite the amount of damage he was putting out, but they win it either way. And now Reason are looking to take it through this left-hand side. Nox realizes the danger and he's getting out of there. Shadowburn hits a nice air shot onto Captain, and Captain hits a wall shot onto Shadowburn. So trading a little bit, and Forsaken in cheese. They have an Uber, and it looks like they want to block with it. Nox, Rocket jumping out, along with Seb Barton. And they're going to take this fight.
Yeah, it looks to be going the way of Reason right now as their health is pretty low. However, the first picks do actually go to Russkies, but with their demo down and their health not so good, if they wanted to, Reason can push across. However, Shadowburn and Stefan just find these picks, and Perm and Haffy are the only ones remaining. It might be up to Haffy to try and get Perm out of here right now as the rest of this Rusky team is pushing straight in across the middle. Scout's trying to get everything going. Shadowburn jumps in, gets one nice rocket. Can he get the one to finish Haffy off? Yes, he can. That's his third kill right now. But Perm is already safely connected with Drak. And it's that Stark trying to make a play in window, yeah, but he just gets shut down as the rest of his team does actually get the forward. And this push is still going on from the Russkies CommanderX.
Yeah, Reason don't really have a setup. Captain's going to go for a single bomb, gets knocked down to half health. There's no real spam to back him up. So Russkies will deal with that and are now trying to push forward. Still, Shadowburn kind of overextends down Cheese. He's with Nox as well, but Russkies are slowly but surely taking control. And now they've got kaidus trapped, but Pain Train comes out, followed by the taunt, and now they're taking this into last 100%. Drax close, he's going to get focused down. Reason are about to get their Uber, but they've already lost 2 people. Uber's forced, they have the heavy. Perm's going to pop. It's all about how many people Russkies can avoid losing right now, but they lose 2 straight away, making it 4v4. And I'm not sure if they can carry on going in off this.
Those rockets sailed past Nox's ankles as well. Either one of them would have juggled him up and made him an easy pick. But he somehow manages to get out of there. And with the 2 respawners coming in now, they're going to want to fight this. Nice shot by Captain and Forsaken. Did they both hit a mid-air air shot onto each other? Either way, somebody hit a sick air shot. I'm just going to scream air shot and that'll be done with it. Air shot!
There was another air shot actually on this back cap right now. Drak gets taken down. Him and Nox on the back cap, but they don't get it. They're a bit too late. Now the Scout and the Medic trapped in behind. This could end disastrously for them.
This is so terrible in so many ways. They have no idea what to do. Nox is going to separate from Stefan. Stefan's going to try and create a distraction while Nox leave. Or starts the back cap.
No, Permzilla could have been dropped there by an arrow. He was going for it. Nox was going for that clutch arrow to trade the medics, but couldn't quite manage it.
That was certainly making the best of a bad situation. But as it stands, they've still got 3 seconds left on their respawn, and Reason should just be able to wander into CP2 here, though Forsaken's still trying to get behind, but he's gambled on the wrong side and just run into the flank instead of the medic. He'll be picked off. And Shadowburn and Nuki are still trying to make something happen, but they're being pressured out. They do pick off Stark in that lobby area with a sticky trap, but now it looks like Reason just want to take this Uber advantage push in underneath.
But right as it starts, they are 2 down. Happy's going to try and take this Uber room with kaidus. He's going to focus down Nox and does get him along with the help of kaidus. Now they need to focus some frags before they get on the point, but with Happy going down, this push might be pretty ripped. Numlock chasing pretty hard here with the Scout. They're going to try and get as much damage going on as possible. Numlock is hitting some pipes. Can he get kaidus? He's got the Pain Train out again. He's trying again and he does it. Oh my god, nice one from your boy Numlock. And with 4 people remaining, they should be able to cap out the second. Shadowburn and Captain fighting out, and Captain winning there. The fight's still happening on the second, but they do cap it out. Reason going to give this up? It doesn't look like they want to. Captain on this hot area, doing so much work during this push right now, but eventually Reason are just going to go, alright, we'll see you on middle.
They know that they have Uber advantage, and Nox came in and healed them up, so I think that was the reason they decided not to take that fight. They probably could have taken the fight, but it would have been a pretty risky one to take. Shadowburn still hadn't got the spawn, and Nox had only just arrived. They'd rather play the Ubercharge advantage, which I think is probably the correct move overall. And Reason now just going to be thinking about where to push with this 40% ad. It was only about 25-30% when it started, so Nox not quite building as fast as he could be as well. Captain's going to make some space on the left, but gets instantly wrecked by the anti-air artillery of Shadowburn and Forsaken combining together, but now they're starting to move closer. Reason are baiting them in. Nox's position is super close right now, and he only has about 80%. They're surely going to be able to get it, but they're still playing so ballsy with Uber disadvantage.
Yeah, but now both Ubers are actually into play. Let's see if this changes anything. I mean, they're still really close in this saw. kaidus raining down some sticky, doing some good damage onto Shadowburn there, but ultimately, looks like they're rotating out of this saw, and we're just in for a classic Snake Water game right now. You know, both teams sort of trying to play around this flank and make things happen, but ultimately it's really hard just because of how, like, spammy all these chokes are and how easy it is to just deny areas without even, like, fully looking at them. I mean, it makes for some tense moments, though, but I think with the score of 1-0, it's going to be to someone to make the play, probably like a Roma bomb or something might happen. I don't know. We have Drac around this window. Could he make something happen? We have players, most of the players are actually around this grass area right now. Shadowburn's trying to jump in, but he just gets taken down. With that, Drac takes the cue to bomb, hits a great rocket there onto Shocky, but ultimately slammed by Forsaken. And in fact, he slammed Shocky so hard, we're now in a pause.
If I had to guess, it's probably Numlock disconnecting.
Mike's going to be coming back in.
He says, my internet is so bad, like you've no idea. It's so bad that when I do damage to someone in TF2, I don't hear the damage or see the numbers for 10 seconds. Now, I assume 10 seconds is a bit of an exaggeration, but it's
he's
that would
playing
be
with
very
like a delay.
disconcerting. Yeah, but I can totally believe in that there's that kind of a delay because his internet in the past has been shockingly bad. He's the only person I ever know that had to stop streaming because his upload was limited by his download, so he had to be downloading like 10 gigabyte files or have 3 streams running in the background in order for his upload to kick in.
What?
Which is just mental. I don't understand who his internet provider is. I think it's like the Sphinx is his internet provider, and they have to he has to solve the riddle of how the internet works before he's allowed to actually have it function.
I think it's on crank, like a hamster wheel.
Yeah, very possibly. So, I think, I mean, when he played against us, you won't really have been able to tell because he leaves the game and then instantly reconnects when, in the actual flow of the game because the pause doesn't happen at the same time. But he timed out 2 or 3 times and stopped them pushing.
David has just informed us he was getting DDoS by his friends, so he'd stop playing TF2 and have a life. There's someone who doesn't have a life in game right now is Happy Cool because he just got taken down by Forsaken, and I think that means that they want to keep on pushing with this numbers advantage and Ubers being equal. Taking their time checking for sticks. kaidus is going to try and rain the damage. Forsaken's going in right now. He's getting onto Perm, but he can't quite take him down or even hit him really. But the Uber's finally used along with his second pick right now. Counter pop. kaidus jumping in, trying to get Numlocked, but he can't really do that. He's trying to get Nox, but he can't do that either. The scout's denying him. Perm's getting knocked down to 8 HP, finally gets taken down, and as this fight goes on, it just favors the Russkies more and more. kaidus going for a god pick right there, and takes down a Numlock and start finishes off Forsaken. With the spawners coming up, both scouts, this fight is just so scattered right now, it's on the scouts to finish up kill. Only 2 Russki players remaining at the end of all of this, and Stefan is just going to 2-shot Stark there. Happy, the only one still on middle, along with his pocket partner of Captain right now. He's trying to get all the shots going off, but Captain's going to get taken down. Shocky's serving his purpose there, saving Nox for as long as possible. He's now fighting Happy.
Happy won't go for it. Happy's scared. He didn't want to go for that because he thought a spawner was coming in, but they were nowhere near because Numlock timed out. That is so bad. I mean, it's completely unlucky, and there's no way of him knowing. But it just looks so terrible when Nox is just firing arrows at him, and Happy's too scared to chase. But yeah, he assumed there that Numlock was coming in fresh off the respawn and would have been there to defend Nox with the sticky trap. So, but timed out in cheese.
Nox even typed in chat "pussy" when Happy didn't chase him. Gotta love Nox.
But yeah, that's due to Numlock timing out. So they didn't really lose anything off that timeout. They're now perfectly fine, so it's a good job. Those technical issues not actually having an impact in the game, and Numlock is now just spamming this choke point, seeing what they can get done. Both teams have the Uber charge, but it looks like Russkies are the ones that want to push off it, despite holding on to second and being 1-0 down. Maybe they're feel like their backs against the wall. All 6 of them now around this kitchen area, not a single person checking the flank, and Numlock's going to be the one to check it. Shadowburn's in really deep, trying to find shots onto Stark, and the scouts gets the frag onto Captain. But kaidus surely should be able to find the kill here. He knows that he's there. Yeah, does find the pipe onto Shadowburn, and the Uber charge looks like it's going to come in for both teams.
And Stark's going to take this as an opportunity to run behind. He's getting his shots onto Nox, and he actually drops him like the soap and gets another pick onto Nookie. Lithuania down along with France there. Stark putting in some serious work, and he's got a reason to kill Numlock too. He's on the soldier. Happy stealing that kill. Happy, why do you do this to your poor scout partner who puts in all that work? Shocky and his Shadowburn's going to try and take this from Cheese, see if he can get anything going, but he knows he's been spotted out. He's immediately going to try and get out, however, gets denied by kaidus there. Whoa, great play from Stark along with the rest of his team. They're going to convert this to a last push probably.
Yeah, it looks like they want to walk in straight away on this right-hand side. Captain jumping in deep already, just trying to make space, but there's a scout behind. Nookie came in behind, and that just made Reason change tack altogether instead, because the perm was so low. We just wanted to wait for the Uber advantage and get perm some health. But we've still got plenty of time to use this Uber advantage as well. So let's see where they want to take this, as it looks like another aggressive hold from the Russkies.
Nox said that due to the pause, he couldn't hear Stark shooting him from behind.
Couldn't see his health either, apparently.
Yeah, who knows what was going on there. But classic Nox excuse, and Reason have just completely rotated around them. And the Russkies are sat on last with more fragging classes, but less classes to really fight with.
Stark's
Reason is coming in and mincing them.
He's got another 4 kills that last push. It was great. kaidus just jumped in and got like nearly captured by his own, and then Stark just like 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, and ended up with another 3 kills. 8 in total, I think there. Oh my god. What a scout.
The whole problem with that was that Russkies were trying to push, and they've been balling up in when they're taking these team fights. They did it on the second push where they all got spammed on the hill, where they've got 5 or 6 players all together when they're trying to actually push an area. And when you're pushing out from last, like if you push with 5 or 6 players in the same area, you're gonna get flanked. What a play! Nookie just runs balls deep across the point, 2 shots kaidus, all of this aggression and individual skill coming out now. Stark on a flank. He's the player with probably the most individual skill for Reason. He's going to try and see if he can level some of it up. He's with his buddy Drac, and they're going to collect a health kit and harass them from behind.
Haffy's in kitchen as well. Haffy's coming out from behind kitchen now, going to 1v1 the scout on point. Gets him low, wins that 1v1, stops Stefan capping, and is just going to stay behind them and just, or well, stay in front of them, but just mean they can't look for those people behind them. And now Reason, I've kind of got them surrounded, and this is a really tricky situation for the Rusky players, as both scouts are just harassing them, focused down Shadowburn. Stark's still behind, and this is just so difficult for the Russkies to play.
This is where Stark loves playing kind of trapped behind, but this is the issue with it, is that both of these scouts can take the 1v1s, and Cyclic, who's Nookie, just bosses Stark there when Stark wasn't quite expecting it. But Stark's so good at choosing when he should be engaging on fights like that. Captain's in, tries to get onto Nox, and Nox has to pop it off. They're coming up over the bridge now, trying to get some pressure onto Permzilla. Great skip jump by Forsaken, but can't quite land the second rocket. He has landed some of those ridiculous rockets to drop medics earlier on in the tournament and in the previous map, but couldn't quite pull it out there. And this leaves Russkies holding on second. And Permzilla has that full Uber charge. Are they going to push out? They're 2-0 up here, Reason, and they have the Uber advantage. I think they should probably be pushing, given that they have a pick and 50% advantage, but they might be just pretty tentative with it.
Yeah, it looks like they're finally going to go in now. Captain barely missing that hero air shot on Shadowburn, and both soldiers going to circle back around and take him down like a shark. Stark's really far forward. He's on 3 HP though. Soldier's trying to chase him with the skill stick, but leaves the kill to Shocky. He's coming up on under right now. He sees the medic of Perm. Perm's actually going to use to the scout when he shoots him 3 times instead of dropping. Great play by him there. kaidus going to finish off Numlocked, and Drac finds a pick onto Shadowburn. 3 remaining on Russkies. It's finally time for them to start backing out. They're actually no, they're still quite forward on this middle. They're going to meet Reason and try and fight. They're going through this kitchen. How is this going to end up for them? They could just get spammed. Drax in on them, gets the force. Great play from him.
But Nox drops Nookie, and that's just unacceptable. When there's only 3 of you together and you have to blob up in order to take the fight, you can't drop like half of the players who are defending you. But I guess he makes up for it with that pick on the kaidus.
Yeah, they trade a frag on the flank as well, but now Stark's in behind. They try and jump away. Stark's threatening behind, and now they've got to fight 2 sides at once. But they focus down Captain right there, and they're still trying to fight, but Stark's desperately coming back to help. Perm with a 6 serve to get away there. Avoids all the Rusky players and finds himself safely back out in lobby with Stark. But it looks like the Ruskies just want to keep this aggression going off those 2 frag advantage. I mean, Captain's going to respawn now, but Numlock's already walking in. Shadowburn's not got a load of health, and I don't think this is the right decision. And Numlock might get caught out. He's so low. kaidus so unlucky not to get that pick.
I think he was on single digits, and they're continuing to leave this hole in their defense when they're holding up a lobby, and anyone from Reason can peek in from their right-hand side and just spam them, just try and get the damage out. And this Uber trade, I can see it now, is going to go horribly here for Russkies. They've already got 2 players on really weak health. They drop Numlock, they drop Shadowburn, and they're just having to back out of there. I don't like that at all. Like, if they should have rotated, tried to get a pick, tried to make some kind of play rather than just going in and trading the Ubers super deep like that with their pocket and their demo.
I think they might be feeling the pressure of the 6 minutes remaining and they still have to get 2 rounds, but they could still definitely be taking their time. We do have Nookie trying to make a play in lower, but he's just going to get taken down when both scouts go for it.
Shockey's actually on last. Shockey's taking a 2v1 on last, just dancing around with both of these soldiers, but in the end puts them both down to about 30 health, but can't quite manage it. He's
been complaining that he's not hitting any meat shots, only 10s, 10s and 10s in chat, along with a nice message of about the whole alphabet. And Russkies are gonna use this to try and go for some kind of pressure. Is that Forsaken in? He's gonna go for it, but he doesn't really get the skill stick kill. Gonna get taken down. Another pick. Both Ubers in play. I don't think Reason are gonna push out, especially seeing as Starkey has decided to go for the sniper man.
That was starting to run out of time as well now. Yeah, like if Forsaken had one more rocket and it was a bit more spam, that would have worked.
Shadowburn spammed, but he missed the spawn door. And if he had hit the spawn with his spam from Shutter Door, it would have definitely killed Perm. But now they're both up, and this is Reason just bleeding out the time. They know that if it gets down to like even 4 minutes, if the Russkies haven't found some way to get the Uber charge out of Perm or generate a few picks within the next minute, it's dire straits for them. And this Uber once again is going to go horribly. Shadowburn stuck in, kaidus gets blasted super high in the air, and Forsaken, no, Shadowburn is really deep. Actually, no, doesn't even find the pick. Forsaken's trying to go forward.
Does find a pick on through Punzel and one onto kaidus. Oh! Headshots right now, but there is only 2 Russkies remaining, and that's, well, only 1 now. Great headshots there from Forsaken, but ultimately the Reason are going to win it out in this battle of attrition. Nox isn't caught out in under. He's going to try and go for some swords, but Drek's going to finish him off. It's his turn to protect last as his team pushes out.
They need something quickly as well. We're down to 4 minutes left as Reason recaps CP2. Perm with a slight Uber advantage. Probably going to be up about 30% or so, maybe a little bit more by the time Nox spawns. But the Russkies need something to work. I mean, they get that pick on Stark, so they can at least start something moving forward. But as soon as they have the heals,
oh
wow,
my God. Look at that! Like, both of the scouts from Reason expect to be able to win these because the scout DM in the rest of Prem is not up to par. So they, Haffical and Stark can run in and take all the 1v1s they like in their regular games, and they will smash them most of the time. But Nookie just showing them there that if they come to his terms, if they take 1v1s in his side of the map where he's like, comfortable, he'll just boss them, and it takes them 1v1 and then another 1v1 there. And then runs in like a pasta brain because that's his biggest downfall.
The casting curse, the moment you sing someone's praises, they just fail you.
It's important to say like what he's good at, right? Because he's like really good at the 1v1s, but then he just chooses the terrible timings to initiate.
Yeah. But Stark does actually get picked down there really nicely, and Captain's going to try and get as much damage going on to Russkies as they want this last push to happen. They know they're pressed on time, but they're going to take down both soldiers. This is really bad for Russkies. They don't really have the time to like reset over and over again and push this last. They do have their Uber, but it's not that good when you don't have your whole team to push. They have to wait for their spawners now. This is just draining more and more time. This is exactly what Reason wants.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough. We're going to see Forsaken respawn on Sniper again. He put together a really sick, quick spree last time he was on Sniper, but it was too little too late, as the rest of his team had already died. But this time he's got the rest of his team up, and he's rolling out a Sniper. 2.5 minutes left on the map. Forsaken's going to have to make an opening, and he's going to have to make it quickly right now. Looks like he wants to go to that shutter side. We're going to open it up. He drops Zilla as the door's open. Stark gets a reply headshot. But they're through now with a clean Uber. They're trying to push in. Drax pressuring them back, but he's singled out. There's only 3 players left for Reason. They're starting to stack for points. Stark's going to come back out on Scout. The Russkies do it. They make it 2-1.
This is just 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
just enough time in order for it to be viable here that they draw it and send us to a golden cap in the second map. But yeah, Stark was sniping on the defense for a little too long there, I think. They could have potentially held it, but when you've got Forsaken on Sniper, or even Nuki on Sniper, it's such a boon for your team and such an asset. I'm surprised they didn't use it more in Sunshine, to be honest. But let's have a look. This is the crucial round. 1 minute and 42 seconds remaining. 2-1 the score to Reason so far. And they're going to be pushing this one forwards. Nuki taking so much attention away, but taking so little damage. And Shadowburn comes in with the bomb. Numlock's been taken down instantly, though, and Shadowburn, although he bought a lot of room, does instantly go down. The Shockey's trying to pressure down kaidus, but kaidus escapes on about 4 health. Takes the health back, and now there's only 3 Russkies left alive. 1 minute. If they can stabilize and win another team fight, then they might still have a chance. It takes you about a minute to go from end to end in this map. So they still got the dying hopes, but it is dying fairly quickly.
Yeah, Reason had just taken this all away from them. There was a really decisive middle there. Perm even gets a pick onto Numlock, just slowing him down again with a 12-second spawn. Stark's in all the way in lobby, and even forces Nox. Completely disastrous. With 50 seconds remaining, this is pretty much the Cinderella story on its final page. They're going to go for this middle and try and make something amazing happen as they're going in. Shadowburn jumps really aggressively. Perm gets the force right now, but Drax just going to take down Shadowburn. And Nox is going to get taken down by Captain. They're trying their hardest right now to fight on this middle, and even getting 2 picks.
Yeah,
nice
this
from
is it.
Shockey, but 25 seconds.
They had one last chance, which they went for with as much as they possibly could on that mid-fight, where they just had to absolutely skill it. In some way, Pumzilla had to drop, or the Uber had to be terrible from Reason, but that's too little too late, and unfortunately they couldn't make anything happen with about 6 to 4 minutes left. It went all the way down to 2 minutes before they actually got that round, so difficult. Nox saying, I'm proud of your performance tonight, G2. Well played. See you on Overwatch.
Why is he typing to his own team when he's in mumble with them?
I think it's a psychological message to the other team, It's like, it's the we're not trying of the Overwatch players. It's like, we don't even play this game anymore, and we still made it really close. But they are still some incredibly talented gamers, even though they aren't, taking TF2 that seriously and really haven't played with this lineup ever before this cup. But they've got the talent to be able to just string it together and give Reason a run for their money, but Reason proving that in the end they're able to take it in 2 clean maps. I say clean. It wasn't particularly clean. It was very unclean. It was
like,
but it was 2 maps.
It was like cleaning hospitals before they discovered, you had to wash your hands before operating. That kind of clean.
The kind of clean that isn't clean. What kind of clean is that?
Well, I'm sure a hospital, even if they didn't know to wash their hands, must have still been cleaner than a regular building, right? Like, they must have known some form of hygiene.
If you have no concept of the hygiene hypothesis, then why would you, of the germ theory, why why would you, David's calling me out, he says, we should get on with the logs. Never mind. Let's do it then. Let's have a look at these logs.
Stark played really well. The Russkies did not play so well.
Oh, Stark with a big 30 frags, 12 assists, 13 deaths. Only 7.8k damage though, so I'm guessing a lot of kill steals.
Haffy as well though, like 20 kills, 22 assists, 10 deaths. Like massive KD or KADs from both Reason scouts right there.
Yeah, KD of Haffy actually 4.2. So smoke weed every day. That's my comments on the logs. I don't know. I think
I'm interested in taking a look at Stefan, because really I think he was upset with his own performance at the end there, and he really wasn't playing like a pocket scouty style like you would normally expect him to be playing in these kind of teams. He was playing much looser, and he was just trying to take fights on the flank and trying to get behind and just playing, pretty loose, pretty free. But he was upset at his own DM backing it up, and I think maybe if he had played slightly tighter, slightly more disciplined, like the Stefan of old or Hafikul currently, taking a bit more heals, played more around Nox, then they might have had a bit more success in the team fights and stuff like that. But I think at the end of the day, as someone says in chat, Reason showing that a TF2 team will sometimes beat an Overwatch team at TF2.
Going back to the Shockey thing though, like, I feel the logs don't really give him justice for that map, because I didn't feel like he was really underperforming too hard from what I was seeing. There was definitely some moments where he came in, very handy. like that mid fight where he saved Nox and got like 3 kills. That was really good, and he had like a couple other nice plays. But I guess the numbers don't lie, right? I guess, yeah, and they don't.
The other thing as well is that the soldiers were shut down so well. We were talking about Hafikul and the impact that he would have and the role that he plays within his team before the game. And Hafikul went 20 for 10 this map. He pretty much died the least out of all. Yeah, he did die the least out of all of the fragging classes. And he had a 2 KD and a 4.2 KAD. And he absolutely shut down those soldiers. Because if you look at the soldiers from Russkies, Shadowburn and Forsaken, those are 2 players with phenomenal deathmatch skills, and they were running all over us full tilt when we were playing against them. We had real difficulty shutting them down, but they went 12 for 22, 15 for 21. They weren't having an impact. They're taking a lot of heals from their team. They're both taking 23% heals, whereas normally you'd expect a Roman to be sat somewhere around like the low teens, really, like 14, 13% heals. Drac took 11%, in fact, from Permzilla, so that's where you would normally expect one of your soldiers to be sat. So the fact that both of their soldiers ate up 14% heals, it actually was 14,000 heals, and did fairly little with it, is a fairly big downfall for that team on that map, and I think says more about Hafikul and the way that he was shutting them down, and actually Captain as well was doing a good job at controlling those soldiers whenever they went in aggressively. And Permzilla's movement continues to impress, to be honest. He stays alive in a lot of situations where you wouldn't normally expect people to, even with the players that he's surrounded by. So I think it was very well controlled by reason. The team fights, the soldiers weren't quite able to put out the work that was expected or would be expected from names like Shadowburn and Forsaken.
But I could kind of tie into the fact that like no one on Russkies has really been playing that much recently, other than maybe Shocky, right? Like it's still pretty amazing that they came this far and even kept it competitive, considering a lot of their players aren't that active. When reason, keen dogs.
I don't think it is that crazy, to be honest. Like, people have always been able to come back to TF2 and be able to perform at the level that they were previously at. If you're thinking about these kind of players, you're thinking about like the players who were involved in Broder, like Rib when he came back, and Zebasai when he came back. The rusty period is normally, like a couple of games, and they're able to get fully back into the swing of things. Really,
They've played all day as well.
Yeah, they're fully clued up on like TF2 mode, I think it's fairly easy just to dip back into TF2 if you've been at the top of the scene as long as these guys have, and most of them really have. Like Nookie is the least experienced player on their team, I think, probably.
Yeah.
And he isn't really away from TF2. Like that's still, well, no, actually CS:GO he plays the most of, but yeah, but he plays TF2 pugs pretty much every day. Like you will find him in. No, he definitely has. I played in the pug against him like last week.
Really?
And, yeah,
Nation told me.
No, it's bollocks. He's just changed his name. He's changed his name to Cyclic, and
kid.
So like he plays TF2 pugs probably more than anybody else on, other than the Israelis on that team. No, not more than anybody else.
Okay.
But more than anybody else on that team. Like he's got the most recent TF2 experience, But the rest of them, they've been playing at the top of the scene for so long that it's just trivial for them to jump back into the game.
Are we doing interviews?
Yeah, let's do some interviews. We've got Kaidus with us right here, but I don't know where the rest of them are, so perhaps we'll have to get in touch with
people.
Seblocked Barton and see if he can download Mumble and get with us. Oh, Numlock's not up for an interview. Numlocked interview. Maybe a Shadowburn interview, see if you can rope him in here. But never mind, let's talk to Kaidus anyway while we've got him in. Buongiorno.
Hey.
How the devil are you?
Alright, mate. How are you?
I'm fairly well. I'm kind of peeved that I didn't get a mouse or a mouse mount from the bracket that I fixed. But, yeah, how was the game against Russkies? What did you think of them coming into the games?
I didn't really know anything about them coming in. I mean, we just checked the logs a bit to see, for the veto, to see what maps they've been playing and stuff. But I mean, I just expected a Nox style of game with like sick DMers. That was basically what happened, I guess.
Did it run fairly as you expected? I mean, they play a little bit similar to the kind of Epsilon TF2 center style that we saw last season a little bit, but with more DM? Is that pretty much what you expected? How the game went?
Yeah, basically, like I knew if we just played as a team, we could win. I mean, winning Sunshine was nice. Didn't necessarily expect that because like we don't practice that map. But we banned Via instead because we didn't want to play against. We haven't practiced Viaduct at all as a team, and we didn't want to play against a sniper heavy team on a map we didn't practice. So we just decided to go with Sunshine for that. Didn't necessarily expect to win that one. Thought we could, and glad we did. But thought we'd do better on Snake, to be honest. Like I mean, the only round we lost was a sick headshot by Forsaken. I think it was Forsaken, but
headshots.
yeah, but I mean he dropped.
Everyone.
But I mean he dropped Perm. That was like the reason we lost a round. Like even in the situation, he just jumped out and headshot him, and that's the only round we lost. So that part of the game was good, but we should have taken like more rounds. We made weird mistakes with our last pushes, like a couple. Normally we're quite clinical on them. Like when we have.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say when we have decent advantage pushing Snake last, like I think we probably failed like 50% or something. Normally I expect like convert like 70-80% of them.
I'd like to go back, actually, not even to this fixture, but because we didn't cover it at all and because it was actually pretty interesting, can we just have a little overview of the Lego game? Because for people looking at the logs, it seems like those games were very low damaging, very low fragging, and you had a 1-0 game that you lost on CP Sunshine, which I know, as you said, you don't really practice. It's normally your like full-time veto. So what was the how did that end up in the pool if it's normally your full-time veto? And what the fuck happened with a 1-0 game on Sunshine?
Well, again, like we didn't want to play Viaduct till we practice it against a team that can like pull out a good sniper, especially like with Lego, it's more that they had a sniper on the roaming class, so they could run like a 2-scout sniper setup, whereas we can't really do that. Like we have Stark who can snipe a bit, but like yeah, we didn't want to play. Same reason, basically, didn't want to play on Viaduct. Like it'll be different later when we practice with this lineup on Viaduct because it's a map that we'll play. So for this cup, and since like we kind of went in with the mentality that we have a match on Sunshine tomorrow, so we thought just let Sunshine be in, we'll get some practice on it. Basically, the story of that match is we lost a round within like the first minute, and chasing a game on Sunshine is really tough. Like we beefed a number of last pushes, but basically we were down within a minute or 2 minutes, and then just spent the rest of the game like chasing basically and not quite able to take last, beefing a lot of pushes. I mean, it's like the first time we played the map with Drac, and we were never good at it anyway, so it was kind of a pretty weird game.
Are you happy with how Drac's like fitting into the team so far?
Yeah, Drac's great. Like
Nice.
there's still some like even like tonight we're still learning things about like certain situations and what I want him to do and what I think works and what doesn't quite work and things like that. But it's like
Was it worth killing a team for us, DavidTheWin?
Well, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I don't know. Apparently that team.
If a team was owner's squad, then yes.
Drag's been anointed in Turbo Monkey's tears. He's been. That's how they got him into the game.
Whenever he cries, his tears just magically form Drac.
Aren't those guys still playing together? Like I hear they're still like.
No, they folded again. Like the 6th time ever folded.
Alright. Well, I hear from some people that they're still like mixing and stuff and playing against high teams and doing pretty well. I think they could have kept playing, but it was up to them, I guess, at the end of the day.
They won an official and then folded because they won the official.
I don't think one player leaving should like completely ruin a team, but I guess like it's like a domino effect. Like one guy goes, so one guy doesn't want to play anymore, and then that guy goes. But that shit happens.
Unless you reason, because you've been trading players like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, especially rumors.
Well, I don't know. I feel like we have a really solid core. We always have done since over a year ago now. We've had me, Captain, and Haffy, and as long as we have those three, I'm always happy to rebuild the team. I think with Only Squad, it was kind of like Drac was at the center of everything.
Would you not say that Stark has recently been morphed into that core? I feel like losing him would be pretty big for the team, especially in how you play.
Oh yeah, I mean, in this current lineup, like I wouldn't want to lose anyone. But I mean, in terms of like how we've changed roster over the years, well, year and a bit, it's always been me, Haffy, and Captain. And like it was kind of like after I-55, like before the whole Overwatch thing kicked in, like Haffy was, well, some players were potentially going to go play with other teams and stuff, so we were going to fold then. But as soon as we had like me, Haffy, and Captain still, we decided to keep it going. So I think it would like be the same. Like if say like it was me, Captain, and Stark now or something, as long as we have kind of like half the team still wanting to play, we can rebuild always. But
Like,
I think everyone, like now, I think everyone's kind of locked in until summer. At least as
Cool.
far as we're concerned.
what's the? Is there any competition you're actually scared of at the moment for I-58 with the news that like Aussies might be coming or anything?
To be talk, I don't know anything about any of those teams. Like I've seen like a couple of the Aussies like specking games, but I don't know them like as players. I just know them as names that pop up in the server occasionally when we're scrimming. So I don't know. I'm really excited for it. I mean, nearer the time, once teams like confirm to be going, it's the kind of thing I'll look into more. But I think it'll be amazing if they actually go.
It should be pretty sick. Some of those players are like beasts that we've never really seen before on an intercontinental stage. Like Elmo is fantastic.
Oh my God.
He's
But
really good.
I feel my problem with Aussies might be like when you put Prem players in high, you know, they just look twice as sick as they actually are, just because the gamers they're competing against. Like, I feel that might be a problem with them. I don't know. Like, Elmo's aim looks sick, but maybe the players he has against his movement.
So far,
Possible.
like Australians came to ice series twice, and so far both times they seemed absolutely awful until they actually got to the LAN. Like even like when they played in EU, like scrimming and stuff, both times they seemed really bad. Not the second time wasn't as bad as the first, but like a lot of that had to do with the bad internet and PCs they had. But either way,
Yeah, and then when they were actually at the LAN, it looked like they could have taken it. It was
then they're incredible. So
yeah,
it's
it was
kind of
crazy.
like whatever I see of them, like whatever judgment you make, it basically means nothing until they're actually at the LAN. But we'll see. I guess we'll see if they can actually make it.
Sounds pretty interesting either way, especially if we have all of these teams. Maybe the Russkies will make a comeback for the I Series. Who knows? I think they're just in hiatus until Overwatch comes back.
Oh, when Nonlocked swapped for Mike with the pause, apparently you were pretty mad that Nonlocked was in spec ghosting? Question mark.
I wasn't pretty mad, but it was just like he joined at the start of the round and joined spec, so I was like, okay, they're gonna switch. But then they didn't switch. So then we played like a mid and like a transition, and I'm like, okay, there's still a guy sitting in spec, and it's like he's almost definitely not ghosting, but it was just like, why does this situation have to be as it is? Let's just pause and swap players. Like,
Yeah, I sent
it's
a
kind of
message to
weird.
I sent a message to him and said, "WTF? Are you in spec? You realise that's not allowed, right?" And he said, "Wait, where is it? Because I have to bring it up. It was fantastic. What's his name? He changes his name.
Give
to
me a
also
reason or something, is it right now?
Give me a reason. Where's
Mike
he
was
gone?
Mike was kind of salty.
Like I didn't even know if it was him. Like for a minute when we paused, I thought it was some random guy. So I thought like we had to deal with it and like kick the guy. I had like no idea what was going on, but I thought like what's the harm? Let's just pause and.
Oh, he's called a scapegoat now.
Yeah.
He said, I didn't sit in spec, I was tabbed out, lol, and then joined when Mike died. Calm your admin tits. Like, do you really think we'd ghost or something? It's like
I never thought that actually ghost, but it's just like the situation. It was such an unnecessary situation. So it's like let's just fix this, and then everyone knows what's going on. Because I don't know, it could have been some random guy about to join and just like gate crash the game. He had like some weird alias. I don't fucking know what's going on. It's like it's not my job to know what's going on, but I figured we can pause.
That's fair enough. Hopefully Mike's still watching and he's got some clarity to his questions he had.
Are you concerned about losing Sunshine in the season? Which teams are you up against? It looks like it could potentially be a shaky map for you if you lost to Lego.
Nah, it'll be fine. I mean, I don't really care if we lose a map in like the season. Like, as long as we take the other map and just don't actually lose to anyone, that's fine by me. But I mean, I expect we'll win them.
You're playing
Like-
public clear, and then you're playing Lego.
Oh, so
Three.
you win in public. Sorry.
Like, we can improve on the map if we just scrim it a bit this week. Like, it's not a map we're ever going to really practice for events or anything, but, like, just because everyone else will be scrimming it, we'll scrim it this week. And, like, tomorrow will be a bit like, we'll just kind of wing it, I guess. But I think we'll be fine by next week with a week playing it. But it's not like we can't play the map. I think, like, everyone in the team I don't think a single one of us even vaguely enjoys playing it, so we just don't want to play it. So we haven't up to this point, and that's why it's fallen behind the rest of the maps.
Fair enough. Something else actually pretty interesting happened with you guys on Sunshine that led you to ask in chat if Nox used his Uber or not.
Oh yeah, did he? I never found out.
Yeah, Drak got a force.
Okay, because we weren't sure. Like someone
Yeah,
said, like
yeah.
someone said
I
they
can
thought.
see what your problem was because the force happened after like Drak shot a rocket like after he died,
Yeah.
and that's what forced Nox.
Like Drac said, like he thinks he doesn't know if he forced, and then someone said that he thought they heard it, but then we kind of looked and we didn't see any force, and it wasn't until like 60 seconds later when nothing happened because we blown it basically that we actually realized okay they didn't Uber. But yeah, that was just weird shit.
I'm out of questions. If anyone else has any. I can go for my traditional. Who was the worst player on enemy team tonight in the final, kaidus?
I have no idea. Mark only got 5 frags across the 2 maps, so
Ooh.
that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Let's say Mike.
Alright, I think that's fair.
Oh, fuck that, I have no idea.
And worst, I was about to ask for worst on yours, but that's obviously Huffy.
That's obviously Perm.
Oh, okay.
Perm was, we had some confrontations, me and Perm tonight. The pussy pops were back in full force at times. I'm not sure so much in that last game, but in the earlier games, it was pussy pop for days.
Oh, this is silence. What's been going on in your life, kaidus?
Hello?
Hello? Are you underwater now?
I don't know, what's going on? Are we
No-
live still? What the fuck's
No one
happening?
else is talking. I don't know how.
Thanks
do I
everyone for
wrap it up?
tuning
Max.
in to CFTV. It's been a good game. Better team won in the end. We'll see you next time.
Max has caused a car crash.
What the fuck's going on?
Yeah, do you have any shoutouts? And we'll wrap this up. This has been the ZOWIE Cup on Team Fortress TV. I'm not sure what Max did at the end here, but he's absolutely driven it off the rails.
Just
Sorry,
asking
I was
questions.
typing. I'd phased out. I thought everything was under
Yeah,
control.
I was doing
just-
some
I just completely
administration
phased
and
out.
expected Max to be able to handle it,
Why
but
would
he
you trust me? That's a horrible idea.
apparently a horrible idea. So do you have any shoutouts, kaidus? Any final words?
No, shout out to my team. Shout out to the opponents tonight. It was well, I've only played the second half, but it was fun. It was a good cup.
Shout out to Max for
Shout out to you, Sideshow. Thanks for organising it.
Oh,
You're
no
the best.
problem, dude. Next time I'll have to fix the bracket even harder because I really need a mouse mat. This one still smells of mangoes from I-52. That's us on TFTV. We've got some more action coming up later on, actually. Not later on today, later on this week. We've got TFTV, sorry, not TFTV, ETF2L games on Wednesday and Thursday, I think, or Tuesday and Thursday, and we've got ESEA games scattered throughout the week. So if you want more European and North American action, take a look at teamfortress.tv and the events section on there. But for us and for the ZOWIE Cup, that is it. Bye-bye.